It's big time. Made his night. Doesn't take much, right?
Simple guy.
Simple guy. Simple guy.
Simple guy.
No doubt. Look at this.
Now, you hadn't drank a beer. We talked about this, right, in our interview. What was the gap?
Yes, we started doing that with our team a couple years ago. We call it like in-season sacrifice. Yeah. We had been studying LeBron James, giving up social media during the playoffs. I think Tom Brady gives up beer during the season, or he did one season. So the whole idea is just sacrifice. So everybody in our season does that. You know, a common one for our players is maybe no Netflix during the season or no social media after 9 p.m. or something. So
after 9,
me and Bob Donald, we gave up beer and fried food. So
did you lose a few LBs?
You know, as disappointing as it was to lose to Purdue in the second round, about 8 minutes later.
Go ahead.
Where'd you go?
We went Wendy's chicken nuggets, which I don't even really like Wendy's chicken nuggets, but when you haven't had fried food in 7 months, man.
It didn't matter.
And then the beer was Dos Equis.
There you go.
Yeah, well, there you go. What's it like for you coming here now? Like, years ago, you could come here and be Mr. Obscurity. Nobody knew who that. I mean, Jukes knew who you were. That was about it, right? D2s, Jukes. Now you walk around and people know who you are. Have you gotten used to that?
Yeah, and I enjoy it. I don't ever take that for granted. You know, I think coming up and coaching, coming to the Final Four, all the memories we have. You know, driving all night to get here, crashing on somebody's floor. Give me your best memory. What was your best story of kind of a Final Four from yesteryear? Okay, so this is one I don't tell often, but this is the field of 68, right?
There you go.
Yes.
You can say anything.
Where it all goes down.
It stays between us.
So Brett Tanner and I, we were coaching in junior college, and Brett's now the head coach. Abilene Christian had a great season. And we were in Indianapolis, and we had arrived really late one night, and so we drove all night to get there. And our hotel didn't start till the next day. So that night, we just wanted to try to find basically a place to crash in a car for a couple hours. And we found this parking garage in downtown Indy. And looking back, I don't know why we didn't realize this, but when we got in the parking garage, we had no problem getting it in, and they didn't charge us or anything. And there was no cars in there. So we pulled up to about the third level, and we just tried to get a couple hours sleep, you know, lean the cars back in the old school sedan, like a Taurus or something. Shout out to anybody that drives Taurus. But we're woken a couple hours earlier with just this sound of like a machine gun or something, and basically they were spray painting the garage.
Oh no!
And we were in the garage. And so the
you weren't supposed to be in the
school car
garage.
is getting popped a little bit with paint. Tanner gets up here, sleep in our eyes. I'm just trying to get out of there. So, yeah, true story. I should cross-reference that with Brett Tanner sometime. Where do we go from there?
That's fantastic.
You got plenty of other stories. A lot of them we know we can't if they involve Chris Ogden or I'm not sure we can tell those. What was this season like for you? You know, I ranked you preseason number 2. Probably too high looking back on it, but it was probably more giving you credit. And honestly, you go into the portal and you get a lot of the top number transfers, the guys that we ranked high. You had a heck of a year, and I tell people that all the time. I'm like, listen, just to have Texas where you could win a tournament game this year in year 1, probably a win if I had told you that prior to the season. But again, you raise the expectations. What did you learn from last year going portaling that you will use this year?
Yeah, I think, first of all, in the season overall, just really proud of our players. You know, we never asked for those outside expectations early, but we understood why. I think really it was a credit to our players and a compliment to them. We knew it was going to be a journey with a new team and a bunch of new players, but I was really proud of these guys. I thought we were playing our best basketball late in the season when it mattered most. Certainly our first-round win against a Virginia Tech team that had just won the ACC championship and beat North Carolina, who's playing now, and Duke's playing now. So I'm really proud of this year's team. I thought we had a great season. Obviously, the expectations are not to win one game in the NCAA tournament when you're at Texas, but I thought we laid the foundation for a lot of things coming. What did we learn? I think you learn stuff every season. I think, you know, in this new age of college basketball with the name, image, and likeness and the portal and all this stuff that's kind of changed, I think we're no different than anybody else. I think we learned some things. We strengthened some things we already knew. And I think moving forward, you know, as we put teams together, there were certainly some lessons learned this year that we can benefit from.
Do you find yourself tapering some of the expectations of others because you're at Texas, right? And let's be honest, with your success and what everyone expects from you, when you arrive there, do you find yourself saying, "Hey, let me, I need not time to be successful because we knew that was going to happen, but ultimately you want to win a national championship." But do you find yourself tapering the outside expectations down in Texas?
No, because no one has higher expectations than we have on ourselves. Like we thought we had a team this year that could be here in New Orleans playing,
Right.
and we did. We finished 4th in the Big 12. We, beat Kansas, who's still playing. We obviously beat a really good Virginia Tech team, and I think Purdue is good enough to be here. So my thing in college basketball every year is there's a handful of teams that have a chance to win 6 games in 3 weekends. I don't know what that number is. Is that 10, 12, 8? But I thought this year we were one of those teams. Now, everything had to go right. We didn't have much margin for error. But no, expectations are always going to be the same at Texas. We want to play in Final Fours.
You talk about how much the sport has shifted and how it's ever changing. From the time that you got into the industry to now, how has your role changed?
There you go. It's going to be a while.
So the first time I think I watched the show, man, I turned it on and you're drinking a Miller Lite.
Yeah.
When was that, preseason?
Yeah, early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he cracked open a Miller Lite
Right.
with
Do
John
we have an
Arch.
opener
Is
here?
that twist or bottle opener?
I don't know. It's not.
Looks like it's going to take some work for Fana.
Terrence has it.
Do we have bottle openers here on the Phil 68?
I think we,
I'm pretty sure we do.
Foster's teeth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sure we can get one from the bar.
We'll get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get one. It'll be
No, I think, roles always
Look
change.
at that, T.O. Got another
There
one?
you go.
Keep
There
going,
you go.
T.O.
Make it work.
It's Modelo time.
Guy got skills.
Tennessee guys know how to open a beer. To be clear.
I think you need one of these to answer the question
Pretty good.
I asked you. Oh, it's fantastic.
You a
And
lo-
it goes down like water.
You a lime guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a
T.O.,
lime guy.
you were doing so well. So well before that one.
Modelo's to start
Hey.
the night. Hurricane as the night goes on. We just keep rising and rising.
Yeah.
And you never know. You could end up at a blackjack table with him.
Very true. You don't want to do that.
How are we doing?
Not well. Not well. Going back to Puerto Rico in December, not good. When Talia won money and I lost money. Vegas a couple weeks ago, not good. And now here in New Orleans.
I don't know
Maybe
when
I
it's
should
been good
stop.
for you, Jeff. You
I
might need
know.
to
I
dial it
think I
back a
need
little
to
bit.
Stop it.
Need to dial it back a little
I
bit.
think I need to stop. All right, so you were here. You were at the Final Four a few years ago. What is it like as a coach?
Well,
What
I've
are
been-
these
I've
guys
been,
going
I've
through?
been at the Final Four every year for
All
about
right, but
30
you
years.
coach.
Like, oh,
You coach.
okay.
I'm not talking about- I know you're a bystander. You would be, in Bourbon Street. How many years? 10 years ago. I guarantee you were walking down Bourbon 10 years ago. What were you doing in New Orleans?
10 years ago. Is that when it was here last?
Yeah, Kentucky, Louisville.
I think, make sure I'm being factual here, but I think we had played in the NIT that year.
Is that
and So
right?
we were a day late coming here. And I also think we were the last team to ever play in the third place game. We played in the third place game in the NIT.
They don't do that again.
I don't think so. Used to play that out.
So anyway,
So we were day late getting
what's
here.
What's it like coaching in this event? Like, and you were a rookie doing it. I know you reached out to a bunch of coaches, but the jitters, there had to be nerves. You're walking out there on Saturday night and then Monday night.
Yeah, it's definitely a different deal. Anybody that tells you different, it's not being factual. I mean, it's a bigger arena, just the whole thing. So I know when we played, we spent a lot of time preparing for it. I remember specific conversations with Frank Martin about his run and just some things like that. So I think there is an advantage to teams that have been here before, players that have played in this deal before. I think there's an advantage for sure.
I want to know, were you more nervous on Monday night of the championship game or when you walked back out in Lubbock onto the court?
Wow.
Yeah, we knew we were going to get that question, man.
knew it was coming.
You knew.
You know,
It's like a bingo card.
I got no problem with the question. You think we're going to be sitting here in 10 years still talking about it?
Yes,
though, or
yes,
10 years?
absolutely. No, we won't. There'll be I don't know how many years. We'll go, how's this? After the 1 year anniversary, I'm no longer allowed to ask you about
That's
it.
on the record. Everybody see that?
It's on the-
He's so
It's being
excited.
documented right
He's
now.
so excited
They're putting
about
that out
this.
on Twitter.
And if you break your word,
Yes.
what's the penalty?
I don't know, whatever anybody comes up with.
Well, let's see. What can we have him do?
I
Is there
think,
something down in Austin he could do, like get on a bowl or like an activity down there?
Yeah, I think 12 Modelos and a round trip ticket to Vegas.
Done.
Wow.
Okay. Done. Absolutely.
like it.
We're on. We're on. All right, now answer the damn question.
First class?
No, first
Okay.
class.
Yeah, first class.
What are we going
Amp it
for
up.
here? Come on.
Yeah.
I got to pay for Talia's education the next 4 years. Come on.
Well, I'm not a nervous guy. I don't get nervous, but I understand the question. So, both were big moments. Both were kind of games that kind of had an asterisk next to it for sure. So, you were in Lubbock. It was an awesome atmosphere, great game. And obviously, when you get a chance to coach in the Final Four, there's nothing like it.
I mean, you built that. Like, that was the thing, Beard, is like that crowd was so good, and you built that into that. Like, that's the thing. Like, I was there a couple of years ago when you guys played Kentucky, and I'll still say, like, that's what you want to get in Austin, isn't it? That's what you aspire to be able to do, is get those fans that revved up. They're out there before the games. Both. When you play Kentucky, beer trucks, fans are handing me beers, food trucks, everything. I mean, I haven't seen anything else like that. And again, listen, I'll say it to anybody. You got it there. You did that. And I think, to me, you need to embrace that. Like, it's amazing what you were able to build there.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. When people say that, I consider it an opinion, a compliment. But I'm pretty quick to say it wasn't just me.
No, of course not.
I think Keenan Evans and Jarrett Culver and Noren Sadiase and Tariq Owens and Davide Moretti and a lot of players had a lot to do with that too. But I appreciate when people say that, because I am proud of everywhere we've been. It's like I'm proud of Little Rock and Angelo State and Fort Scott Community College and Seminole. So for sure. We're really proud of what we're building in Austin too. I mean, it's happening. It's happening quicker. I don't know if people say, are you ahead of schedule? I kind of think we are.
You
We
are.
had multiple sellouts this year in the Irwin Center. Our student section was sold out every game the students were in session. And of course, next year we're going into the new arena on campus. There's not going to be a better place to play basketball. So, we got things going in the right direction for sure.
How about what would it mean if the Field of 68 came on location for a show inside that new arena?
With Goodman or without Goodman?
Whatever you
Goodman's
want.
paying for our travel.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would prefer maybe. I'd like hanging out with Goodman, but I prefer the non-Goodman
New
show.
Texas Arena.
I'm doing
Field of
Austin.
68
because-
do a live show.
It's because
from
I
this
asked the
season?
tough questions.
Are we in?
Yeah.
Are we in?
Are we in?
Yes.
Shake
Live
on
show.
that.
Yes.
Shake on that.
Yeah,
Let's
shake.
go. I don't even need. Hey.
They can
we
use
get
the
the
sauce.
doors open?
I'm bringing my cowboy.
Hey,
hat.
gotta get him to
Dawson,
bid.
can we
I'll get my cowboy hat ready.
Yeah.
I'll get my boots out.
Chris, I got to ask you
sign
about your
over
team
there.
next year.
Well,
I'm
what
sure
do we
you don't
need
know.
for it? We need like an outdoor location.
Oh, we
indoor?
need-
Where are we going?
Depends on the weather,
For the weather.
right?
Texas,
Depends on
right?
the weather. I mean,
We will
weather's a
come
lot
down.
better than in Boston.
No offense. I mean, this stuff's really fancy. Can we do it more my way to some lawn chairs and
Done.
a little bonfire?
Yes,
Oh, are you
absolutely.
kidding? Get a cooler.
Absolutely.
come to the
Old
house.
school with us. Night before.
We'll
That's
put the guys on the grill.
You like Coach K? Do you have a bobblehead like that?
I do not.
Look at that.
I wish I could have this
Isn't that
right
awesome?
here.
For Randolph there?
goat.
Okay.
I'm good right here.
Who's,
Chris,
he
that's
have
Chris's.
one?
That's Chris's.
That's yours.
Who
man.
is? So Sean Miller would say this year. He thought Bill Self is the best coach in college basketball. He literally said that. The best coach in college basketball. Who is the guy that you do not want to see on the other end? And don't give me like 5 names. Give me one name. One name that you do not want to coach against.
Brian Berg, because he's one of my assistants, and I don't like playing against those guys. So, no, I think when you start talking about the best coach in college basketball, there's probably a handful of guys. And to me, Coach Self is absolutely in that category. To me, what separates guys is consistency. You think about what Coach K and all those guys have just created over time with consistency, and I think Coach Self's run in the Big 12 speaks for itself.
How many of your guys have you had conversations with that can come back? Have you had any of those conversations with guys that's eligible to come back, that can come back, or that, there's so much going on right now with the portal and testing and everything else? Is there any confirmation from your roster of guys that have played for you this past year coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do is, when the season ends, it's always so emotional. You've gone through this journey, but you got to talk at some point. So what we always tell the guys is the day after the season, hey, we'll meet with each of you tomorrow. We're not going to talk about specific things. Again, it's emotional. The season just ended, but we want to communicate clearly. So right now, I think we're in a pretty good place with all of our guys, just communicating. Some of our guys are going through processes different times. Some of them have, committed to coming back. And the other day, one example of many, Christian Bishop jumped back on board and saw value in coming back and playing another year of college basketball. So we're really happy to have several of our guys back on board, and a couple of the other guys are kind of going through a process right now, which I support.
Right. Finish this sentence for me. coaching in the Big 12 is like?
I still want a Pat Knight line that I love this one, man. It's like, what did Pat say? It's like being Daniel in the lion's den wearing a meat necklace.
That's pretty quotable.
Shout out to PK. How about that line? Think about that.
That's an amazing line, but it sums it up. What you did at Texas Tech, what Baylor did last year, what Kansas has done this year. Like, you have to go through it night after night. We debate best conference. What is it specific to the Big 12 that sets it apart?
I think, I can't speak for some of the other leagues I've never coached in, but in the Big 12, there's nothing better. Some of those guys might be as good, but the fact that we play everybody home and home every year, your place, our place, obviously the coaching's off the charts. Hall of Fame coaches, including Coach Huggins. We get that deal done yet?
He did.
He's in.
Here's to Coach Huggins.
That's
you
right.
go.
Long overdue.
No doubt.
Huggy Bear, baby.
Shout out to Coach.
We got to try to get him on the show tonight.
Yes.
I don't know. He's probably he might be having a few of these.
I'll come back and be just a fan.
You would, wouldn't you? You'd be peering through that, right? We all would. Hearing those stories. Listen, as good as your stories are,
He's the best.
get AK, Hugs, Frank Martin. Just listen to them doing this.
Those are good ones.
Oh, they're elite level.
Yeah.
Beacham, just sitting outside in Augusta. All right, so by the way, we do have an announcement here. Chris Beard needs a +1 for the Final Four coaches ceremony tomorrow. Is this true?
Yes. Randy's back in Austin right now. My girls are all doing stuff like that. So blessed to be going to the Final Four. Jacket deal tomorrow. Excited about it, but I got the +1. So I think what we're going to do.
in the pool.
Yeah, Vanna's in the pool.
There's a pool of applicants right now. So if you guys are interested, hit us up in the chat now. You can put yourself in the pool.
For the record, this is the most stress I've felt
this
since
is a lot of
leading
pressure.
into the high school prom. I mean, I was on the bubble. Like, last 4 in, first 4 out for Brandy. She wasn't sure if she was. That was my high school,
I'd like to take somebody really interesting, like you guys heard the Mr. Bojangles story, Jerry Jeff Walker down here, Mr. Bojangles,
Wait.
street dancer. Did you know that?
No, you have to tell this now. I've never heard this.
It's my understanding, Jerry Jeff Walker is one of the best country musicians ever from Texas, and I'm friends with his son now back in Austin, but he spent a night here in New Orleans and met an interesting man and then wrote a great song about it, Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys Google that.
Wow.
All the viewers out here, check that out. Jerry Jeff Walker, Mr. Bojangles.
Who's opening? I'll let you go after this, but who's opening the new arena in Austin next year?
Joe Golding.
No, not
Music?
Field of 68.
Yes. You were so excited about this. Who was it?
I think Willie Nelson's coming. See, they say they have soft openings, this opening, this opening, this
but
opening.
Willie's coming.
Yeah, and then I think George Strait's coming.
I mean,
at
your
some point.
favorite is who? If you could go to one concert,
Wow.
who would it be?
That's tough. That's like asking who's your favorite player.
That's why I'm asking you.
You have one daughter, right?
Yeah,
So somebody says,
it's easy.
who's your favorite?
It's easy. You got
kids?
3.
Yes, 3.
How many? Yeah, so who's your favorite kid? Yeah.
Nice. Love them all. Depends which day it is.
No shot.
So Goodman asks these questions like that, man.
That's why he's
like
good.
a loaded question.
That's why he's good.
How'd you meet this guy?
It is.
How'd you meet him?
Well, why do you tolerate him? That's the
Basketball.
question. You're the only guy that
Like,
likes
Basketball.
God bless you.
I'll tell you
only
why.
guy
I'll
that
tell you why I tolerate him, and most of the time like him, is because you can say whatever you want about Goodman, but Goodman keeps his word.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like if Goodman tells you he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
There's no question
So
about
when we
that.
got the Little Rock job a couple years ago, coming from Division II, we weren't the most popular hire in Arkansas, but
I didn't even know where you were.
Expectation.
Remember?
I disappeared for a while.
You did.
And I think they picked us last in the league and what have you. So, but at the first of the season, I told Goodman, I was like, dude, I'm telling you, we got a pretty good team, man. And I was like, I think we can make the NCAA tournament. And then Goodman said, come on, man, it's your first year and all that. And I'm telling you, man. I said, well, hey, if we make the NCAA tournament, will you be there? And he said, yeah. And at the time, thinking, whatever. Well, here we go.
Shot. I'm like,
Not only
course.
do we have the best season in school history, we had
Was
the
that in
best
Denver?
season in conference history. Yeah.
Yeah, Denver.
So we get to Denver and we're playing Purdue in the first
right.
round.
Yes.
And I'm literally walking out to the game.
No, you're walking in the door.
To the
you're
game.
walking in the door to the game through the security.
Yeah. And then Goodman, I told you I'd be here, man.
I'm literally waiting for you.
That's
I
amazing.
changed shit up to be able to be at that. I changed everything up. I was at ESPN. I remember changing everything. The coolest part of that game
It was a great game.
by far, was standing. I didn't know his daughters at that time. Your two daughters, your two oldest were there, standing by themselves. Kind of the media was here. They're standing by themselves, so I just went over and stood with them and just kind of hung out with them as they were watching. And I mean, imagine they're watching their dad beat Purdue after, again, this is a guy that had grinded it from the ABA to Division 3, 2, Arkansas, Little Rock. Like,
I think there was a Division 4 job.
there might have been. You might have had it. If there is a Division 4, you probably coached him. All right. Well, listen.
Hey, go.
Great seeing you.
Chris
As
Beard.
always.
Does he wear these sports coats every show, man?
Yeah, we broke it out.
You don't like it?
He's got his tailor traveling with him.
Wait. Why do you still?
Can I borrow that to wear to the deal tomorrow?
It's a little tight. I don't think. I think you know.
Come on, man. I mean, I got this going in the right direction.
You do.
Somebody stopped me
Got
on
you
the
out
road
a
the other
few
day.
pounds
goes,
of chicken, huh?
Yeah,
There's
somebody
nothing
made a
to go
comment the other day. I was like, dude, you should have seen me 6 months ago, man.
During season, it's tough.
Hey, a lot of
Are you
respect
kidding?
for you guys, man. Y'all
Thanks.
made college basketball better this year. It was
Thanks.
awesome.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Chris.
man.
Appreciate it.
Chris,
Great
good luck,
seeing
man.
you. See you in Austin next year.
See you, brother.
Done,
see
done. Yes. That's
All right. Be good.
That is
All right.
outstanding.
There he is.
Everybody
Texas
get ready
head
to-
Coach Chris Beard.
Everybody get ready to break out the cowboy boots next
Join
year.
us
We're going.
here. Field of 68 after dark.
Break out the boots, man. We're
Doster,
going.
where are you?
What's birthday?
Coming
Come
in?
on, man.
Birthday boy.
Birthday boy, get in here.
Boy,
Get the birthday
Simone.
guy up
Birthday
here.
boy.
Tagging in here. All right.
Get the birthday boy in here.
Carolina guy.
God. Oh my God. Yeah, get him over on the other side. You know how we got these Tar Heels coming in here now. Yeah, switch the hat. Switch the hat now. Switch the hat. You know how that go. Give him his own hat. No, give me the Villanova one. Come on. Yeah, get out of here.
I tried.
You know what I mean?
I tried, man. I tried. Hey, we all live. The mic is hot.
Shooter. You're not the best shooter. You're not the best shooter right there.
Right here, right? Right here.
Hey,
I'm the best shooter. Right here. At the end. I'm the best shooter.
don't tell him that.
I'm the best
He don't
shooter.
believe it. He doesn't even believe that.
The numbers say
He
that.
doesn't even believe that.
Man, please.
All right, so
better.
we
The numbers say what?
The numbers say I am.
Really? What numbers?
The numbers.
What numbers? The
Whichever
all-time,
one- Whichever one
the
you want.
all-time conference numbers?
I mean, okay, let's look at it like
No,
this.
no,
'Cause
no,
you
no.
know, you played more than me.
That's not the question.
Yeah, you played more than me.
That's not the question.
Hey, you played more than me.
Hey,
You play more than
It's
me.
earned, it's
but
not
you
given.
put the-
How many
you put-
more?
You put the you put them.
How many more?
You put them played minutes. With the played minutes, then you go, and you got more shots than me too.
Yeah.
well,
he was a
shooters
star.
get more shots.
find a way.
You know, shooters get more shots.
Who?
You gotta fight. Yeah, if you
I don't
play
know.
about shots, you
see,
gotta
that's
find a
different.
way.
Let me do this. Let me
say one thing. You find a way, but if you want to be here on this weekend, you do what's asked.
Did you play on this weekend?
Yeah, I played 3 of these.
What about? What about?
You know
RC?
That's a tough look. That's a tough look, boys.
That was not
Hey,
bad.
hey,
And I love
Hey.
them both. You know, my home.
yeah. I was about to come back, but I said, nah, this is one of the few Tar Heels I like.
Yeah, that's my man.
So I'm not gonna come back real hard at that. I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna go ahead and take that little.
Just so everyone knows, this is Shamon Williams, North Carolina. I'm saying it, North Carolina legend. All right,
Oh, well,
we got
thank you. I
the
appreciate
rifleman
that.
on here,
That's the rifleman.
Terrence Oglesby,
Legend in his own mind.
legend in his own mind.
Yeah, that's it.
Everyone knows Randolph Childress by now, so just
Yeah.
we're getting that out there. Host of the Carolina Conversation on the Field of 68 Podcast Network.
Randolph is 40, 40, 40, 40. Now that's what we call Randolph, 40, 40, 40, 40. Most people don't know that. but
Hey, he's a year
I can-
away from being
I-
50,
I can
50,
explain
50,
that.
50.
I can explain the 40, 40, 40, 40 later. I can do that.
So what's up, man?
RC got quiet for a second.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious as to what he's gonna say. That's why I said that.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to? Oh, okay. Well, my freshman year finishing the ACC, we ended up having to play Wake Forest because we both were jockeying for #1 in the ACC at the time. And that night in Chapel Hill, Randolph, they won, and Randolph gave us 40 that night. So then he goes into the ACC tournament, as you know, if it's written, and then he had another 40. And then the game after that, he had another 40 plus. And then in the championship game against us, he gave us 40. So you look at the numbers, it's 40, 40, 40.
I got a question. When it comes
go
to the
ahead.
tournament, what was it like to see Randolph murder a man while you were on the floor?
Well, let me
say
him
before
and
you
me make
answer.
this
Let me
clear.
say this before you answer.
He murdered that person.
The funniest thing about it,
This is the Jeff McGinnis, the crossover.
People talk
and the
about the
wave,
crossover
meme.
and everything else, but the funniest thing about it is his reaction, because he's on the bench. If you ever watch it and you watch his reaction, that's the funniest thing about the whole thing to me.
What's your reaction?
Oh, he didn't hide. It was just like he grabs his teammate and literally.
It was one of the better moves at that time. But let's make it vehemently clear. He didn't murder him. It was a great move. All right, Jeff McGinnis is my guy. Me and Jeff went to wars together, so Randolph just happened to make a great move.
That's all it was.
It was a great move. Probably one of the better moves that's ever.
It's a meme.
It's a meme. Maybe, but let me make this clear. Jeff McGinnis
was a guy. He was a dude. He was a dude.
Yeah, that's a dude.
He was a dude.
You know what I mean?
He was a player.
Great players.
But to defend your Tar Heel, but he is a dude. You're right.
I mean, great players.
He was.
The ACC that I played in, every team had 4 pros.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
All right, I want to ask you this. So, we were just talking back there. Mitchell Gladstone, one of our producers, Duke alum. You went to North Carolina.
Yes.
I made a joke back there. I was like, you're going to shake his hand. You're like, you said it's cordial.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what that rivalry is like for the people that are in that rivalry, that are living that rivalry.
Well, it is the best rivalry in sports, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what team is better than the other at that point in time. I mean, I've been in the games where we were number 1 in the country, they weren't ranked, and they went to 3 overtimes. I've been in games where they were number 1 and we were number 2 in the country. So, I mean, that competition amongst the 2 institutions is something that you can't plan for. You can only experience it once you're in it. But I would say this: a lot of times within that rivalry, I think people don't understand that we're all friends. And at the environment that we came from, we could be friends, but as soon as the 40 minutes
on the
started,
court was on
it's time to get at it. And so for us, it wasn't so much about, I'm trying to annihilate them because they're Duke. I mean, I'm trying to do that each and every night, no matter who we were playing. And, for me, it's easy for me to shake people's hands from Dukes. I have great friends that play there. I played in some great games, but I'm 9-2. So, I lost more games to Wake Forest than I did Duke in my career. So, you look at somebody else.
So Wake was a real rival then.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
Wake was a real rival.
Shaman's not big on the humble brag. He just
No,
there and just saying,
just tell the truth.
Yeah,
it isn't bragging when it's true.
That's true.
I agree with you. It isn't bragging when it's true. People don't like it.
I mean, so and we had some great. We played against some great guys, and I saw some great games because I wasn't playing. My freshman year I didn't play a lot, so I watched some great games as well. So I don't want people to get it misconstrued. I had to earn the right to have an opportunity to have an impact in those games. But, I mean, a person like myself, a lot of people didn't know this either. My sophomore year, the end of my freshman year, my sophomore year, I was actually working out with Johnny Dawkins at Duke. And that's one reason I have so much respect for Coach K. I think a lot of people say, Shabbat, you the Carolina guy Coach K like more than anybody else. I mean, we have a great relationship, and I always make sure that I tell people this. Because we got our haircut at the same place, Johnny Dawkins was getting his haircut before me. We used the same barber, and Lily. And, I walked in, Johnny's getting his haircut, and I'm sitting there like, that's Johnny Dawkins.
Yeah.
That's Johnny Dawkins. Carolina, Duke, whatever, man.
Doesn't matter where you went. You know who that is. That's JD.
That's JD, man. One of the greatest. And so, we were talking, and he said, Shaman, if I can ever help you with anything, let me know. And so he said, take my number. So as I took his number, I thought to myself, hey, that's Johnny Dawkins. Why not ask?
He was the first person I called before I went back to Wake to work.
Really?
Because I asked him. I was still in Europe, and I called him and I said, JD, you went on and you had this career, and then you went back to Duke. And I had concerns about going back to Wake because I was like, all right, I don't want them to feel like I'm the same guy that was there. It's like, all right, now I'm a grown man, I'm married, I got my own family. But I didn't want the people that were still there to look at me as that student. And I was like, you went back to Duke. How was that? Should I do it? And he talked me through it about how I should navigate it. And so he was that type of guy. He's one of the best people I've ever met.
Awesome dude. And I asked him, can I work out with you? And he was like, yeah. So I was going over to Cameron and working with Johnny Dawkins.
Blasphemy.
And,
That's unbelievable.
And he was, and he was teaching me things that, that was just different. You know what I mean? Just different. And I'm learning from a pro. So one of the greatest. So you can only expect that Shamon Williams' game began to take off, more. And, I had great coaches at Carolina, and then I had Johnny Dawkins helping me as well. And, so the one thing that was great for me was, in retrospect, was I had an understanding, I had a good feel for Cameron because I would be over there working with Johnny Dawkins.
That's why you were 9-2, huh?
Yeah, and what I really appreciate, on the serious note, what I really appreciated about Coach K was Coach K knew that Johnny was working with me over in Cameron, and he never told Johnny to stop working with me. And for me, that says a lot about an individual. It says what he stands for, what he cares for. Because he could have easily said, Johnny, no, don't work with him. If you're going to work with him, go somewhere else. And, the player that Shamon Williams became, I always make sure that I say thank you to Johnny Dawkins.
Hey, I got you something. So, Shamon, last summer we run into each other at an AAU event.
That's
he
right.
coaches one of the best. Wait, what age group is it?
Well, the group that I was coaching was 5th grade.
Okay, so they're 5th graders. Those guys went at it. They went at it. But we talked about Hubert being the next guy and how that was going to work out. Did he exceed your expectations? Obviously exceeded a lot of people's expectations with the Final Four, but throughout the course of the year, how he approached things, he never got down on his guys. Is that kind of what you thought would happen? How did this season play out for a Tar Heel guy?
Well, it's always great when you have an opportunity to be in the Final Four.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things, at North Carolina, unfortunately, good or bad, you have a standard, and usually being able to be there for the Final Four kind of is like the thing,
Right.
So for Hubert to be in this position, I think there's only one other head coach in his first year made the Final Four. That was Coach Guthridge. That was my year, my last year, 1998. So to see Hubert in that same position is awesome. But having an expectation on Hubert or anyone for that sake is kind of difficult because you don't know the type of coach they're going to be. You don't know, what they hold in regard. And so for me, this year, even though I coached at Old Dominion, the women's, I found myself going to a lot of practices.
Right.
And I tried to make practices when we didn't perform well. I always tried to make sure if I could, I was going to be at the next practice to show my face to kind of listen.
Well, there was a lot of those early on.
Right after Christmas. I was there after Christmas. But the thing about this whole thing is
I'm not. Listen.
You're telling the truth.
I'm not. Thank you.
You're telling
Can we just be honest about this?
You're telling
Because
the truth.
people killed us early on,
telling the truth.
and as you know, we
You're
got a lot of Tar Heel friends.
You're telling the
There was a
truth.
lot of concern. Whatever word you want, I don't want to say disappointment.
I
But
had a lot of people
It was a
jump ship
lot
in
of people.
Yeah.
Even Carolina, because we create flack for it.
They're gonna be like that anyway. Like for me, it like myself. I would be a hypocrite to my own career if I had got upset with Hubert about what was going on early with us not winning games, and then the way that we were competing. That was the issue.
Thank you.
The way that we were
and it's
competing.
fair. I'm glad you're saying it because
Yeah,
we get
the way that we were
crucified for
competing.
saying it early on.
But it takes time. It takes time for people to understand roles under new coaches or just being in a new role. My junior year at the University of North Carolina, when I began starting,
We're having somebody tap in
All right,
for
there
you.
you go.
Special guest.
when I began starting, we were 0-3 in the ACC, and ended up going winning 16 straight and going on the road. So,
we got a special guest here, Shimon.
how you doing? What's up, Shimon? Of course. Good to see you.
Russ, we're live with a hot mic right now, just so you know. So
Okay, I need to
That's
know
how
when
they
it's
think.
live.
Yeah. It's live. It's going. What's going on,
I've been
man?
known
Well,
to
he's
do
always
some.
live, so it's
Yeah.
good. It matches. It matches. It matches.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy 50th!
Yeah.
He's getting up there.
We're celebrating. Apparently, I'm the only one up here celebrating. But hey, look.
Well, you can give me some cranberry juice. You know, I don't drink alcohol, but I'll take a nice cranberry juice or some water, something like that.
Coach, another year. Heck of a year. 2 straight Elite Eights. King of the transfer portal, it seems like.
I don't
mean,
know
it's
about
like
that.
You put it together, man. Another great year.
Yeah, we had fun. We had a really competitive group. It's so interesting. The last 2 years, we kind of hit this breaking point where last year it was getting blown out at LSU, then getting blown out at Alabama, and then all of a sudden things just kind of clicked, and we went on an incredible run last year to end the season, and then this year it was the same type thing. We started off 0-3 in conference play. 2 of those 3 were road games, which is always hard to win in the SEC on the road, and J.D. Note actually had COVID and missed one of our games on the road at Mississippi State, but for whatever, I don't know what it is, but we've had some grueling practices that led into these runs. But a lot of it, too, I think you're right. Like when we had these transfers, there's a certain point where they say, all right, I'm going to buy in.
Where it clicks. Right?
Where it clicks. And it takes a little bit of extra time, I think, when you dig deep into the transfer portal and you have 3 or 4 or multiple guys from that portal.
Well, how difficult is that for you, though? I mean, you have basically the last couple of years, the first month and a half, 2 months of the season is not the Arkansas that we see for the last 2 months of the season. So how hard is that process of getting these guys to buy in?
Well, I think you always want your team to be playing well towards the end of the year and not peaking early. That's number one. Mm-hmm. And so how you structure.
So it's a plan.
I'm not going to say it's a
marathon. So you drop those games early.
I'm not going to say it's a perfect plan because I never know when that thing's going to turn around. But you do structure practices and motivation techniques that probably 1 or 2 guys are paying attention, not the whole team. But you try to build up, towards the end of the year. And I think, like Shimon will know better than anybody, when you're coaching in the G League or the CBA or the USBL, you got a constant fluctuation of talent and guys coming and going. And so I really don't flinch when we have a bunch of new guys. I mean, it's part of what I grew up on. But it takes some time to gel, and I think you have to know that and have some patience as well.
Yeah. Jalen Williams.
That was about to be my
question.
Jalen
Williams. Go ahead. You got it.
Mine as well.
We love him.
That guy.
Field of 68 is a huge fan.
Yeah,
huge
great
fan.
last name, I would say. Great last name.
2 different ways to protect the rim, right?
Yes.
He's the best in the country at protecting it on the floor. I mean, unbelievable.
54 charges. And it's really interesting because
Tio, how many charges did you take in your career?
Not 54.
Your entire career, high school
I
till
think
the
I
end of
took
your.
one on Gerald Henderson on accident. I fell and I got the benefit of the doubt. That was what I got.
You got in the way and he dunked on you, and they called it the other way.
No, that's not what happened. No, but not only defensively, offensively, you could run offense through.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is a really good college basketball player.
Well, it's really funny. We actually had him bring the ball up the floor probably 15 to 25 times this year where he acted as a point guard. Right. We put a few plays, a J Will play package where he was the point, but we ran him on the elbows all the whole year as a passer and a ball distributor and a guy that kind of played point center for us. But we have had a postseason meeting already. Obviously, he's a guy that would have the potential to test the waters because of how well he's played. And try to get some feedback on where he is. But one of the things I did say is if you do come back, we got to stop taking all these charges because the NBA game is more verticality. And the NBA game, when you play 82 games, you cannot take charges or your body will break down. And it's a little bit of the Chuck Daly philosophy. I remember Coach Daly talking to Horace Grant about that, that, hey, we just go vertical because of the pounding your body takes. And certainly with Jalen, that's something that we really, if he came back, when he comes back potentially, we're going to want to not take so many charges, go vertical more to try to save his body and have, longevity is important for a player too. Your body is kind of your temple or your paycheck, so to speak.
Sure, no
So that's something we want to change.
That is first coach I've ever heard say that. Take less charge.
Take less charge.
Of course,
I'm
they
in.
need to take a charge.
Ban
I
the
love
charge.
that.
Get
They
rid of the
ban it.
charge.
Ban it.
We want to celebrate these athletic plays, right? We have all these great players. I want to see you go try to dunk on someone. I don't want to see someone play defense by just getting in the way.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
Is that just me?
I'm more.
Oh, you're a
what it
charge
take-
guy.
No,
You're a
do what
charge
it takes
guy.
to win the basketball game.
Have
That's
to do
be
that.
vertical, then be vertical. If you have to take a charge now and then, take the charge, because at the end of the day, it's about making the plays that affect the game that may not show up in the stat sheet. That's
So
how
true.
That's
so
how
true.
you win.
And we still want him taking charges. Don't get me wrong. We just want
I hope
we don't want 54
all Arkansas
schmuck.
players are listening to this. Must does not actually like charges. We got to ask you about Duke. So you guys played Duke in your last game. Didn't go the way you wanted to. What was the most impressive thing about them? Did something stand out to you on film when you watched them or scouted them that you didn't necessarily realize coming in? Like, what are your takeaways on that group?
I think they're the best team in the country. Last year, when we walked away from playing Baylor, we thought they were the best team in the country. This year, we walked away from that game. They outplayed us. I thought they were definitely the better team. They took away our strengths. So great scouting. We're a high free throw attempt team. I looked at that stat sheet at halftime, and we had 3 FTAs. I'm like, there's no way we're winning the game because that'd be like a post-up team never getting a post-up. That's who we are, driving the ball. Trying to get to the line, trying to get the other team in foul trouble, which is what we did against Gonzaga with Chet. But we're a no-middle team defensively. Their guards, and I mean all 3 of them, not just their point guard, all 3 snake dribbled and just tore us apart and torched us getting to the middle. They kind of did the same thing to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech, in my opinion, the best defensive team in the country.
Agreed. Yeah.
We feel like we're a top 5 team defensively in the country. And I think what's happened is because as we talked to teams that they played earlier in the year, we were not getting reports of what we were seeing of late. Mm-hmm. A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, they're coming into their own right now. And I think if this was an 82-game college, I don't think anybody would touch them in games 50 through 82 if it was an NBA season, because that's what happens with NBA rookies. They start figuring it out right around this time. So I'm incredibly impressed with them offensively and defensively. The zone bothered us. We cut that thing to 6. They called the timeout. They go 2-3. Offensively, they stuck Bonchero in the mid-post at 6'10". They ISO'd him. The other 4 guys on the other side of the floor. Yep. We had no answer. Game over.
Yep. So, in this era of college basketball, it feels like everybody's got to make an announcement. Are you coming back? Are you going pro? Are you entering the transfer portal? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Your roster turns over every year. Do you know what it looks like next season? Like, who can you sit here right now and say, we have him coming back next year?
We know that freshman class.
Yeah.
We got 6 freshmen, which, I mean,
speed.
6 is a lot.
Yeah.
For you especially. Like,
it is. It really is.
Your one and dones are 23 years old.
But but I will say this, Rob. We learned. So when we're playing Duke, you can't get. Maybe once in a while you can get a 5-star talent in the portal. Not often, trust me. Or it might be a 5-star who turned into a 3-star, his first 2 years in college. But the Moses Moody's. I mean, the guys are leading scorers of freshmen. And we're going to rely on our guys that are coming in. We don't know we got several guys, maybe up to 3 that'll test the waters, and you get your feedback, and then you make a decision. And the good thing, having coached at the NBA level, coached in the G League, I can offer an opinion based on people in the league that are friends of mine that I can get true, honest feedback from. And then obviously the NBA advisory board is going to give their opinion as well. Right. And then we're going to work the transfer portal, which we already have and will continue to do to try to fill out our roster.
I got you one, Coach. It was unbelievable to me. You guys win in the Sweet 16, and within 5 seconds or something of the game being over, you've already tweeted out elite. And I thought it was awesome, but it also spoke to your approach towards social media. You've invigorated this Razorback fan base, and it's an emphasis for you, right? Kind of being that next thing. Oh, what's always next with Coach Muss, the Muss bus, all this stuff. It's great.
Do you have a bus, by the way?
No, we have a bus. We have a really cool. We just got it. A really cool golf cart It's I don't know. It's like a Must-Bus golf cart, but it's
the Must
gonna
golf
be,
cart doesn't have the same ring as
no,
the Must
I know,
Bus.
but it's pretty cool. It'll help with recruiting for football games.
Like a
But
little bus
when did
around
you-
the golf cart?
That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, I understand what he's saying.
yeah, all right.
I don't know if I do it, but
I'll
I understand what he's
allow
saying.
it. I'll allow
Yeah,
it.
but
I'll allow
when
it.
did you decide, like, this is what I'm going to attack? Because not only does it create some fan-based dialogue, but also recruits and stuff like that. When did you decide this is what I'm going to attack?
I mean, it's so interesting because in reality, before I was on social media, known as an old school coach, known as overly disciplined, known as a guy that maybe didn't have fun but was just an old school coach.
Right.
My dad was thought of the same way. What people don't understand in my household, my dad was so far ahead of the game promoting. He had a pregame warm-up. It's still on YouTube. Guys riding unicycles. They packed Williams Arena. When I grew up, in the trunk of our car, it was full with Golden Gopher T-shirts. Every restaurant we went in, my dad would walk in, pass out Golden Gopher T-shirts. He was a promoter beyond belief. Ashland College sold out games. Williams Arena not just sold out, but the hockey arena was sold out, and they watched it on closed circuit TV. And then my mom, her father was in the Pepsi plant business, and so he was a promoter of. So I got kind of both sides. But sometimes when I tweet stuff, I feel like I have such great respect for the coaching profession. Yeah. But I have more respect for trying to get recruits. So I'm going to keep doing whatever an 18 to 22-year-old wants.
Let's talk about those recruits, those guys that you got coming in. How good is this class going to be? How good are these players going to end up being? Are we looking at another Moses Moody coming in? Like, what are your expectations for these guys?
Yeah, so obviously, Rob, I can only talk about the guys that are signed, but incredible class. I mean, Nick Smith can score the ball. He's got great court vision.
Goodman loves him.
Yeah,
he talks about him nonstop.
I mean, he is really talented. Long arms, can defend, but probably above all else, really competitive, hates to lose, has leadership, alpha. Like his personality is an alpha, And then Jordan Walsh, I call him. He's a violent defender. Like he reaches and stabs at the ball violently. He can really attack the rim.
He's a perfect Arkansas guy.
Perfect. Really defend. Barry Dunning, Gatorade Player of the Year in Alabama, multi-dimensional, can kind of play the 3-4, maybe some 2. Joseph Pinion out of Arkansas, really good shooter. Darian Ford got great strength. I mean, he's like a power guard. So a really, really exciting class, and then we're waiting on one more signature. And so we're excited. We really are. And we're going to have –
What does it say about Arkansas basketball that now we're saying, like, Arkansas and Duke, top 2 classes? Should Arkansas be the number 1 recruiting class? Arkansas basketball.
Right? I mean, it's amazing. And you know what happened really is 2 years ago we felt like in our league and across the country with Power 5, way over-recruit in the portal. And then we started seeing, like, there's a mistake. And – they got this guy starting, and it's like he wasn't a very good player at a mid-major. Why is he? Why is he? So it was really, really interesting how we kind of flipped the switch, and actually to recruit some of the 5 stars or 4 stars might have been easier than recruiting a guy right now that's a marginal 8th man, and I mean that. That's an amazing statement that maybe a 4-star was easier to recruit than a guy you're not sure can even be in your top 9 rotation.
Well, now we're going to get the real info.
And the real recruiter.
The real recruiter, the real info on the Arkansas basketball team. I want to know, when you see him taking his shirt off on national television, running into the stands, doing all this like, what's going through your mind as you're watching him get naked on TV?
Well, at this point...
Are you just thinking, keep your pants on, please?
No, I'm just like, at this point, I mean, he's done it so many times. It's not really shocking. But what was shocking is the game that we beat Auburn, he hadn't taken it off in years. I thought maybe he retired that act. And the crowd had rushed the floor. It was so crazy. I wasn't anywhere near him. And I'm like over in a corner, and I look up, and he had the arm sling and no shirt. That concerned me. He was bopping along. That concerned me.
Yeah, so the energy that these guys play with, I think it stems from him.
From the coach.
I think he's a pretty energetic guy. Is this like 24/7? Take me through like a day in the life in the Musselman house. Like, is this? Does he need coffee?
No,
does he need caffeine?
he doesn't need coffee. I'll just tell you, last night we did go out. We made it to bed about 2 a.m. And then at 7 o'clock, he woke me up, and I'm like, do you know we went to bed at 2 a.m.? That we're on vacation. We can sleep in a little bit. But he had things to do, with my quotation marks. That's his normal.
All true.
Care to comment on that?
Yeah, the
That's his
things to do
normal.
were get on FaceTime and get in the portal. Because on the
you
East
woke
Coast,
up-
it was only, it was 8.
Yeah.
Got to get to work.
If you woke up next to me, would you be in the portal at 7 a.m.?
That's a good
You don't
point.
have to an-
I shouldn't have.
I'm going to go ahead and
have
say
to
let's
answer
go to the
that.
next question.
Yeah,
Anyway.
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah. What's it like being married to him in Fayetteville, right? Like I gotta imagine, like those fans. One, they're crazy. They're out of their minds. But it's crazy in the good way, right?
It is. We don't go out much. We live in a little gated neighborhood, and that's kind of like our sanctuary. We honestly, we don't go out much. He tries to go with me to Walmart. He'll be like, oh, I'm going to come to Walmart with you. I'm like, if you go to Walmart, it's going to take me 3 times as long because everyone in Walmart wants a picture.
That's a smart woman.
So
Smart woman.
he goes to work, he comes home, and that's pretty much his life. But he's happy with that.
Yeah.
He likes it.
What I like about it, Mus, is you've kind of transcended the game. You've made it extremely difficult for a lot of people, especially in that SEC. You said something earlier about being able to relate to these kids and do the things that that's important to them. How important do you think it is for other coaches to try to, because sometimes you could be criticized for those things.
Sure.
Because you have older people looking at the things that you're doing as opposed to understanding this is not for you. This is for the kids that I'm recruiting. And so how important was that for you to make that decision to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I feel like is important that's going to help my program as opposed to what people may perceive of me.
I think, Shimon, really it's about like everything we do is to how do we win?
No question.
How do you win in recruiting? How do you win in the portal? How do you win the 40 minutes in front of you?
Right.
And certainly, like you make a conscious decision. Are you going to let cameras in your locker room at halftime?
Right.
Are you going to let cameras in for pregame speeches? And the safe thing is to shut down and not let anybody look behind the curtain. But then how do you recruit?
Right.
And so everything we do in reality is based on our audience, which it's our boosters, it's our fans, it's our former players, but most importantly, it's our recruits.
Right.
And it's the same thing once they get on campus. Like, you've got to evolve. Like, if you have a 30-minute film session, that doesn't work with today's athletes.
Right.
So what we do is, all right, we're going to have a 5-minute pre-practice. We might have in practice a 5-minute to break the monotony of practice, and then a 5-minute after. And that's how you get your 15 minutes in rather than go straight through, because that's not how we're wired right now today.
Right.
All right, last one, and then I'll let you guys get out of here so you can go enjoy your night and stay out until 2 a.m. again. Mama Hog, have you met her? Do we know?
I have not. I've seen all the videos. We love the support.
You're a big Mama Hog guy.
I mean, you have to be, right?
Yeah,
I
how
mean, if
could
you're
you
a
not?
Woo
She's
Pig Suey.
amazing.
Well, one, she's an Arkansas fan.
Yep.
Two, she hates Chef Goodman. Like, that's the perfect mix right there, right?
Does
I mean-
anyone else call him Goody, or is it that's
Just
a
her.
mama? Oh,
Just her. That's Mama Hog.
I had never heard that before, so I was wondering.
That is Mama. I don't know where that came from, but I love it. But that's like a pretty good summation of Arkansas fans right there, right?
Yeah, I
Arkansas
mean,
fandom.
the passion is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I think a lot of it is, and it's with our football team, it's with our softball team, it's with our soccer team. Like, they love, the Razorbacks, and there's no pro sports in the state, and it goes from one tip of the state to the other tip of the state, and it's really, really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, we appreciate you being here. I'm going to let you go. She looks like she's ready to go, so I don't want to get in the way. But yeah, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Rob.
Congratulations on all the success, and
Appreciate
hopefully you get that signature soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
take care,
Shimon.
guys.
All right. See you later.
Wes, in the hot seat, man. Come on up here.
Good to see you. What's up, Wes? How you doing, buddy?
Let everyone know. Hey, Smokey. Fed, you want to get in? Yeah, might as well. Here, yeah, come sit down.
Keep it going. Keep it going here.
All right, we got a Carolina reunion here. A lot of Carolina blue at this table right now.
Hey, there's Bomasona
Welcome
right here.
in,
There's a Bomasona
Cincinnati head coach Wes Miller. We got Shimon Williams, John Fanta back.
Coach Miller, good to see you. John Fanta.
Good to see you too, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think? I mean, how exciting is this for you? Because, again, you get to go to a Final Four, not just, walking up and down. You got a little vested interest in this one.
Yeah, it's been neat as I got into coaching. You have the Final Four experience as a coach, and then you have the Final Four experience as a coach when Carolina's playing in it, and that's actually happened a lot. It's always a better experience when Carolina's in it, and then it's been neat to be a part of this, and they win it. That's happened a lot too, and hopefully they do that again this weekend. So.
I'm just surrounded by a lot of Carolina here.
A lot of shooting.
You should
too.
call it winning.
A
lot of shooting, a lot of winning.
A lot of winning.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out, we asked Randolph Childress who was the best shooter in this room. Because we were going through T.O., we've got a couple shooters here. And Randolph goes, well, I got to figure out between him and T.O. And Wes Durham goes, what do you mean, for 2 and 3? And Randolph goes, yeah, without question, I'm number 1. Who would win it?
That's fabrication. That's fabrication. I mean, that's the individual thinking a lot of himself as opposed to what reality is. I mean, that's okay. That happens in the world.
Man.
That happens in the world all the time.
That's
So good.
fabrication.
So good.
That's fabrication.
You're not having it.
I mean, you ask the people.
You've got the shooting stroke?
Yes,
He had it. He had it.
He can shoot the blood out
what
of
I'll
it.
say is this: is we learned this at North Carolina. Shimon will tell you is you respect the people that came before you, and you expect the people in front of you. And I grew up watching Shimon knock them down, and then he used to kick my ass in pickup. So I can't talk any smack that way, but I will say that I could shoot the ball a little bit. I don't know if I could do a lot on the basketball court, but I could shoot it a little
shoot
bit.
it. You
Yeah.
could
He
definitely
can shoot
shoot
it.
it.
He can most definitely. He can play. He can play.
The Carolina way. What does that mean to you, Shimon? I mean, the Carolina way, to me, we've talked a lot about like the Duke brotherhood. That's kind of been the new thing over the last few years.
Right.
What is the Carolina way?
Well, it's predicated off of the things that Coach Smith implemented and who we are, how we are, and how we do things. It wasn't so much about just the way you played the game of basketball. It was more predicated on how you lived. Coach Smith was a great example of humility, a great example of being selfless for others, a great example of using his platform to help others and take all the bullets that could be taken, but allow other people to be ingratiated by the Carolina environment. I mean, he was the first individual in the ACC to have an African-American player. And so to have that mindset and understanding, what this thing was about, he understood it was bigger than basketball. Where a lot of us in those environments, basketball is the way. He understood that this is just a mechanism, an opportunity to change your life in some capacity. And the Carolina way is just making sure that you have those, you do those things. You look out for your brother. You put yourself in a position to be selfless to help others. Just on a small frame, for us as players, the one thing he said, make sure you come back for these kids that are on campus. And so, that
You
made
guys
me
all do.
Yeah, that made me build my house in
It's
Chapel Hill.
crazy to me, like how many Carolina players come back every summer and play pickup. Like there's no other place in the country like that. Nowhere.
It was really interesting, like when you reflect on your playing career there, and we didn't do all the workouts in the summer like we do now, right? Like when I was playing, the coaches weren't working with you in the summer. It was against the rules. But when you played there, you were getting coached by guys that were playing in the NBA and playing overseas.
Every day.
Like again, I mean, Shimon Williams was in the gym with us every day. My 4 years, he was playing for the Lakers at the time, at least for some. I mean, it's incredible. And now as I'm at Cincinnati. I'm at a place where there's unbelievable tradition and history and pride. And so I can relate to that because of my playing experience, and we got to tap into that and get guys back, and we're fortunate because those guys want to come back. And I think, like you take those lessons you learn as a player, now it's really helping, at least it's helping me in coaching. I'm sure it's helping Shaman and the things he's done in and out of basketball.
Have you hit Hugs? Like, have you talked to Bob Huggins, who was obviously like the legend right at Cincy, and it didn't end well there at the time, but have you tried to connect with him and kind of bring him back? Like, I know you're new there. I know.
No, I mean the first night, the night I accepted the job, late last April, like the first thing that I did after I, called the current players was reach out to Mick Cronin and Bob Huggins, and
Smart.
I think like Shaman talked about it, we were always taught, to respect what came before us, to understand the responsibility you have. When you put a jersey on at North, it's the same thing at Cincinnati, and you look at Bob Huggins and that group, you look at Mick Cronin and the things that they did, and then it actually goes well before that. I mean, Cincinnati, we were winning, national championships in the 60s, and Oscar Robertson, and I mean, it just goes on and on. So we've really tried to embrace the history and tradition and really tap into it and bring it back. And obviously Coach Huggins has been great, and he loves Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Congrats, those.
We have an interruption here.
I do. I want to know, what was your number at UNC?
Oh, he's going to try to get me in trouble with the Carolina fans.
Yeah. I'm going to pick on him. That's great. He's going to break some of this. There's not been so much love fest for this UNC stuff I can take.
We're going to find out, Jeff. If we listen long enough.
Listen, let them know. Tell them. I just want to hear the story myself.
I might be disowned by all the Carolina fans when this story comes out here. But true story. My dad, I got to give some perspective here. My father played baseball at Wake Forest. He's a Wake Forest graduate. So I grew up. I was brainwashed for like 18 years.
Yeah.
I grew up going to Wake Forest basketball games, and I'm not ashamed to say it, but Randolph Childress was my childhood hero. All right,
it's the Demon Deacon stuff, man. It's in his blood, man. That's why I'm cheering. That's why I'm a fan. It's okay.
I was a Clemson
fan.
That's
my guy. There you go. So, but let me. So I started wearing 22. After Randolph went off for like 106 points in 3 games in the ACC tournament.
40. Remember that? We talked about
and
that
I wore it my whole career. But then I actually got to Chapel Hill, and I found out I was brainwashed, and it was easy to fix that.
Yeah.
But even more so, I met Randolph later in life in coaching, and it all came back down after that. Right? So we can talk some smack here.
He got to know me, and then it just dropped. I put the air out when he got to know me. So I can relate to you.
I'm just kidding. No, true story. I fell in love with the game watching Randolph Childress play basketball. That's a true story.
That's crazy.
It's kind of like, religion. You grow up in a certain religion because of your parents, but eventually you get to make your own choice. So I understand that.
But there's a lot of correlation in that with you guys. What makes you the guys that because most people hate you guys, Duke and Carolina, they hate you guys. But the ones that they like, if you notice, got a little bit of Demon Deacon in him, like Jay Billups. He's smart enough to marry a Demon Deacon.
That's
he
not
was fathered by one. I mean, that's just
that's not consistent. That's not consistent. That's not in my
household. Shaman thinks that's fabrication too.
Yeah, that's fabrication.
No, it's true.
I'm trying to think about all the guys I hang out with.
He said it's fabrication that you think you're the best player in this building.
I did.
He doesn't believe that. That's just a competitor.
I said that because what Randolph won't tell y'all is that we did get an encounter after that 40. Yes, we did.
Really?
Yeah. It was in Turkey. In 1999.
My memory's
That is that Demon Deacon memory.
You're all the way in Turkey, you guys went at?
Yeah, during the NBA lockout. I went to Turkey.
No.
And my first game was against the Randolph Childress.
Wow.
What happened?
You remember that?
Who won?
So we're keeping tabs of how many points we scored?
No. At that time, no, I'm not keeping points because I got the utmost respect. Those are the guys. Randolph, Corey Alexander, all those guys I look up to.
We
They did.
There you go.
That's what I was trying to tell y'all. Like, we're like brothers. Like,
Pass the baton.
and I open the door for these guys. I don't buy them dinner much. But I hold them. I hold them in high regard. All these guys, I hold them in high regard. But I do remember when I walked on that court, I said, "Retribution." I did say retribution because
In Turkey.
The first,
Turkey,
I got to get it back because the first game.
You remember how many you scored in Turkey?
Oh, well, I don't think that's important. I don't think that stuff is important, but it was just retribution. Because I'm gonna tell you, didn't get to tell you that game. The first game he had 40 on us in Chapel Hill. Coach Smith did put me in the game to be the cooler. And I wasn't the cooler.
I was gonna say.
I stuck my hand in his face. And
it's bad when you hit a shot and you look over at the bench, you like.
I put my hand in his face. I say, Coach, what you want me to do with him now? He on 29. Man. So much I can do.
You two are unbelievable.
So I fouled him. He shot free throws. Then, like I said, he had the other 40. He beat us in the championship. So,
I just always say it's funny. You hear all the stuff now, and people just don't realize the connections of the people.
Oh my goodness!
And how
I forgot. I honestly forgot when I brought you on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the weight connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
The 22 shocked me.
I literally have known
the 22 did shock me.
It's like all his life.
Well, I didn't
Now
know
I
because of
totally
Randolph. You know what I mean? I didn't put that
your
together.
dad and obviously everybody always.
But I'm glad you
Like,
chose better.
I would come to their house.
Oh,
And just no, seriously, in Wrightsville Beach, I'm sitting there like I could call his dad and say, "Hey, I'm gonna come up to Wrightsville Beach," and he'd be like, "Oh, go up there and ask so and so for the key."
Wow.
I mean, it's
this most definitely was after college. It was after
There was no NCAA rule.
They would have had RC would have been suspended for a year.
You kidding me? What the Carolina Duke fans would have did to me if I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, they would have got me out of school. You kidding me?
Yeah.
All right,
No,
let's move on to Carolina now. This Carolina team, because I still think this is as intriguing a storyline, not just Carolina Duke, but the Carolina's here. Carolina's here. I know you're going to laugh at me. I know. 3 weeks ago, we were talking about maybe they don't get in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then March 5th hits. And to me, that's when everything changed, because when you can go in to Cameron on Coach K night and not just win, but win. Mm-hmm. Like, that changes everything, doesn't it? With just kind of your swagger, how you're feeling about yourself. No?
You want to answer that? Or you?
No, you can go ahead.
I mean, I thought it was a little unfair for people to have an expectation on Hubert as opposed to just having an expectation on the University of North Carolina. I mean, we have our own standard, of course, but it always takes time. It takes time, like I said previously, it takes time for new teams. Like, even people being put in new roles, it takes time. Like I said, I would be a hypocrite to my own career because I started, when I began being the point guard at the University of North Carolina, my junior year, we went 0-3 in the ACC. And it was like, oh, my God,
Sky's
it was
falling.
terrible. Yeah. And then we finished, at the Final Four. So, I mean, Hubert was doing better than we did. So, hey, I understood. Hey, listen, there's going to be some ebb and flows. I think the only thing that I would have been, I was thinking was just how these guys competed. And, if anybody wanted to talk about that, then I could say, okay. But the one thing I do appreciate was I went to their practice after Christmas, and Hubert came in, and, we had some dialogue, but I watched that practice, and he seemed to be different. Like it was just a different Hubert. And what he was, the things that he was doing and saying, it was like, when I left out of that night, I was like,
he's going to get this.
Oh, hey, he has it. They have to get it. He understands.
Yeah.
They have to get it. And
and again, in this day and age, it's different, right? Brady Manick transferred. At that point, they had Dawson Garcia transfer. You got a couple guards that are again, and you're playing different. Your style is different than Roy.
Yeah, I mean, I just been a head coach for 11 years and just went through transition last year. Shimon just said it takes time, and guys learning how to play together. You're gonna see this more and more now with the transfer portal and teams being put together the way they're put together. You're gonna see teams click at different points. I mean, you got a great coach, a great coaching staff, like you said, great standards in a program where there hasn't been crazy change because it is the same people that have been in that program running it.
Right.
And you got a bunch of new guys. Like it's going to happen. You just don't know. It may not happen in December. It may not happen early January. But when it clicks, and you saw that happen to them as the season progressed. So it's been neat to watch that team evolve.
I'm curious when you talk about in transition, like what does the country, what do we not see from you when you take on the Cincinnati job? The nights, the hours in which you're trying to take the job and make the program yours in that first year. What is that behind the scenes work?
Yeah, I mean, you can go a lot of ways with that. I think that the biggest difference, like, okay, now we're approaching an off season after we've been on the ground for 10 months. And it's just significantly different today than it was when you get the job last April. I mean, you're just trying to figure everything out when you get a job. You're trying to figure out who's in place, what are they about, what can they do on and off the court. You're trying to figure out who you need to add. You're trying to hire a staff. You're trying to get to know administrators. You're trying to get to know people in the community. I mean, it's 100 miles an hour, and I'm not. It's probably still about 99 miles an hour, but the difference is now we're going into this off season. We understand our returning players. Yep. We understand the things that we have to add to our team to support them. We understand the guys we spent a year recruiting. Like, it's just you have so much more ability to prepare for a season after you've been on the ground than you do when you just get a job suddenly.
The only thing I would say to that is Hubert was there for 9 years. It's not like he came from another program to there. So my question early was not more about, well, it was about Hubert. It was. I won't say it wasn't. No, I'll take accountability.
What you're saying is, should it have taken time?
You get along always.
My deal was, can you change toughness? Can you generally it is very difficult to get a player who is not tough mentally or physically to become tough mentally or physically. Am I wrong there?
I wouldn't say that it's difficult. I think the environment will dictate to you, because it may be one or two individuals that may not be tough, but there may be other individuals around them that are. So it makes you have to perform and comply to the environment around you. And I think that toughness comes in forms. Being physically tough, being mentally tough, and being able to do the things that you need to do against others that allows you to be tough. To say, no, I'm not going to do this, that takes toughness. Right. You know what I mean? So there's different variables of toughness. But I don't think, you can perceive it to be tough when they, no toughness when you lose games the way that they lost. I think it was understanding that this isn't just about you, it's about what's on your chest.
100%. Yeah. No, I agree with that. And Hubert said that yesterday.
Yes.
He said that. Baycott said that. Yep. Of like, we were kind of playing for ourselves instead of playing for Carolina.
Yes. And that was one, for me, I've always tried to make sure that I've been around whatever team each and every year. I try to be around those teams because I want those guys to know I'm in it with you. Whatever goes on, I'm in it with you. And I thought, especially when it's not going good, it's important to be around so they can see it, say, hey, you know what? Hey, they ain't just with me when it's good. They're with me when it's bad. And I think these guys have really done a great job. And I'm going to say, for me, being in Philadelphia, that Caleb Love performance, I didn't even know how to take it, because some of the things that he did was probably so uncommon from a Carolina basketball player. I think that there's only one individual that probably had, I guess you could say, the kahunas or whatever you want to say to do those types of things, and that would have been Rashad McCants. In that episode, I thought that Caleb Love said one or two things. You guys are either going to love me or you're going to hate me. But I am going to try to put this team on my back. And at the end of the day, whether I like the shots or not, I had to respect the statement
because he wasn't
going
to let him go down without a fight. Like, that was the biggest thing that you saw from Caleb Love. It was like, screw this. you know what? We're going to go down fight.
Can I say something for a second? You have me ready to run through a brick wall. I mean, your explanation of this stuff, the passion of Carolina speaks for itself at this table. Like we said, there's something to be said about.
Invested.
Yes.
These guys are so invested at a different level than any other program in the sport.
Bingo.
And they have been. And again, part of it is it's been passed down. Yeah. Right? It's been passed down. You just know it's about Carolina. It's never about you. And if it's about you,
and it's
you're
not
in the
going to
wrong
be
place.
right. I mean, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. All right. So for this game against Duke, what is the key for Carolina? How do they win this game? Because still, however well they've been playing, most of us are not giving them a chance to beat Duke because Duke's got Paulus, high lottery pick, Griffin, lottery pick, Mark Williams, first round pick. I mean, they got dudes that are going to play at the next level. Carolina, listen, I don't know how many dudes are going to play at the next level. How do they beat them?
Guys, I coach at Cincinnati, and we got the transfer portal.
You're worried about that.
I've been breaking down these guys. And I watched the Carolina and Duke game in Cameron as a fan, and it was great. And I was cheering in my office in Cincinnati, and I'm going to be cheering on Saturday night.
You're just a fan.
Man, you want me to break down like Houston in our league? We played them 3 times.
Actually, I have a fun question for you briefly because once you get back to that, we do have to bring this up.
Yeah.
Our Field of 68 colleague will now be cross town from you, Sean Miller, and I know because I can feel it in you how much you're looking forward to being on your home court for the crosstown shootout next year, and I know you'd like things to go differently next year for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Tell me about that rivalry and now the fact you're going to be coaching against one of our guys.
You know, it's really interesting. When you take the Cincinnati job, you know that the crosstown shootout's a huge deal. It is 100 times more intense than I ever could have imagined.
Really?
I mean, you hear about it every single day, and like Shaman knows this. You play at North Carolina, you're going to be involved in the Duke Carolina thing on a day-to-day basis. It's felt even more intense locally because the schools are a mile apart. You know,
yes.
Duke and Carolina are 8 miles apart. Chapel Hill and Durham are different communities. Cincinnati and UC and X are in the same community. Literally, there's no separation. There's no
some
interstate
households that are
between
broken.
them. And it's crazy intense. It doesn't necessarily get the national attention, but it's wild, and we want to win that one as bad as we can. Listen, I got crazy respect for Sean Miller. I mean, are you kidding me? The success that he's had, throughout his career. But yeah, I mean, when you coach at UC, you want to beat the brakes off of Xavier. That's just how it goes.
And my other question for you is, are you watching Big 12 games?
I mean,
knowing that you're making that?
I'm not necessarily scouting the Big 12 because these guys know this. When you're in the middle of a basketball season, you're looking at the day in front of you. But I think big picture, we're trying to understand. We got to prepare. We're a year and a half out from the Big 12. We got to make sure we're preparing our program for that. Yeah.
All right. Listen, Wes, appreciate you coming by.
Yep.
As always, good to see you.
And I'll be high-fiving Shaman in the Carolina section during the game tomorrow. So appreciate you guys having me.
Yep. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you, Coach.
Enjoy dinner.
Wes,
All right. I'll sit on.
Yep.
All right,
Are we moving out?
Oh yeah.
Wes, thanks.
We need a little.
Now you got to get some Duke.
We need to balance it out. We need to balance this out a little bit.
It's all good. That's one of the greatest athletes to play. You want?
Sit down here.
What's up, man?
How are you?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Great to see you. Greg Paulus. How you doing? Come on, man. You good?
Greg, John Fanta.
What's up, John?
Great
How we
to
doing,
meet
man?
you.
Great to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Thanks for coming.
All right, Greg Paulus in the house. So we roll on Field of 68 after dark. Hey, by the way, we are coming to you from Gordon Biersch. We're at Gordon Biersch. We're right across the street from Harrah's. We're a block away from the Hilton. Come and see us here. We're on tonight. Tomorrow, we are live from the Superdome from 4 to 5 Central Time, 4 to 5 local, so we do want to update you there. We're back at Gordon Biersch on Sunday, guys, so if you're watching and thinking, we already had a fan that came and saw us, that heard about these shows, come see us at Gordon Biersch. We're on 12 to 2 and then 6 to 8 on Sundays. We welcome in. Greg Paulus from Niagara. Coach, what is happening?
What's up, John? How we doing, man?
Excellent, excellent.
He said you guys met last night and spoke for about 20 minutes.
I must have been drunk.
I don't know that for sure.
Did we really? Did I speak with you for 20 minutes?
It's great to see you again.
Jeff, did you just hear this?
You're
Did
good,
you just hear this, Jeff?
You're good.
This is maybe the most epic moment of the week. Just go ahead and say.
So Amanda's like, great to see you, Greg. Great to see you. Greg comes up and he's like, hey, I spoke to John for like 20 minutes last night.
I was on Pluto.
GP goes, good to see
Coach.
you.
All good.
Coach,
I really left a mark, right? I mean, you really you want to make that first impression, and I clearly did.
well, no, I made a first impression. Lights were on, nobody was home. Big time. We talked for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What state was I in?
What were you drinking, smoking? What were you
I don't
doing
smoke.
last night?
I wasn't smoking.
All right.
All right. Let's jump into this here.
All good, man. Wait, this is a big deal to be on this. This is big time.
Oh, it's
Thanks for having this. This is
come
great to
on.
be on, man. Playing
this-
against him,
This
knowing
stuff
him.
is crazy for me. Again, like earlier today, we have Taylor King.
Oh wow.
Taylor King,
Yep.
a blast from the past,
Yep.
right? Just have Wes Miller on, Greg on. Like, I've known him. I'll give you the quick story. Literally, he's 14 years old, and he's the top point guard in the country. And I remember seeing him. I'd already talked to him numerous times on the phone, and we just had a connection. We really did, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
I mean, you didn't hate me, right?
It was built easy.
All right. So, the first time I see him is at Rumble in the Bronx in person.
Yep.
And at Fordham, and he's playing for his dad, and his dad. I would say this.
I got yelled at a lot.
He got yelled at.
I got yelled at a lot. So you got to channel it. You got to.
And his
you got to
dad's
find a way to
killing
channel
him.
it.
His dad's killing him. And you can see right away, Greg's basketball IQ is obviously at a different level than a lot of us, including his father at that time, even his 14-year-old Greg Paulus.
Right.
So, Dad, he takes him out of the game at one point, and he just lights into his ass. And Greg looks up at me. He comes off the court.
Had a big smile,
He looks up at me, and he's rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious.
Yeah, my dad coached me all growing up. So I'm one of 7 kids, four older brothers. I'm the 5th. My younger brother, who actually went to North Carolina, and played football. So he met Wes. Wes.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten close over the
I
years.
think until the game against, we'll leave on this.
Why you leaving? I know where this one's going. I know exactly where this one's going.
Everybody keeps talking about the last Duke Carolina game, which is epic. All right, but until that happened, the game everybody always talks about anytime you're walking around is
I'm sorry, I think this got cut off.
JJ.
This
JJ and Sheldon Senior
doesn't work anymore.
night. It was JJ and Sheldon Senior night. They were #1 in the country, and we went in there in 2006 and beat them. And we were guarding each other. So we know what the result was.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Carolina Duke rivalry, man. Right?
Hey, you know what? Every time you
It's
see
friendly.
someone,
It's friendly hatred. It's like a.
but there's a respect level,
Yeah.
Right.
There's like the ultimate
Yeah.
Carolina family, Duke family.
Duke
you
brotherhood.
go-
Brotherhood. Use the term. I know it came
100
along after you.
But it's all.
Brotherhood.
It's all. Yeah.
Just
no,
making
no
sure
question.
you don't get in trouble here.
No, that's a no-brainer.
Right
Right
terminology.
there. Yeah.
We got to ask you this question because this is what this forum's for. What's the best case story that you love to tell?
It would depend on what are we asking for? You know what
Pick
I mean?
one.
Like there's time. Like the question I get asked the most is what do I do now that I'm coaching? That and
Sure.
that he taught us. You know what I mean? And like a couple weeks ago, we're playing in the MAC tournament. This is just one example, right? So obviously, like the standards, the relationship. He's the reason I went to Duke. Like being recruited.
Think about this. He could have played both sports at Notre Dame. He turned down a chance to play quarterback and point guard at Notre Dame. Xavier wanted him desperately. He almost went to Xavier because he loved
that's
Fab
Coach Mata. My relationship with him comes full circle. I get a chance to coach with him for 6 years at Ohio State. But Coach, the relationship with him, the standards we're trying to create our program that are in place at Duke. But every day you're doing something. Like we were talking over there, and like we're getting ready for the MAC tournament, right? And you find out who you're playing, and you know what coach does at every time you get ready for a tournament setting is he'll put up the bracket, right?
Yep.
Not the 64 teams, not all the teams in the ACC. It's one bracket, just like this.
4 teams.
We do one, you know, just the one right here.
Okay.
Like this is
Yeah.
the only game that matters. Duke
Got it.
versus whoever. You know, we do the same thing at Niagara, right? All right, who we playing? Here versus here, you know, come tournament time. Like, so you catch yourself doing these type of things that become instinctual. But, I mean, there's a lot of stories depending on what it was and where you are. But, I mean, I think the one that started it all was my first conversation with him. Nike All-American Camp in Indianapolis. We're playing, you got all the coaches. It's different now, AAU. You play on like 3 or 4 courts. Everybody's watching. There's only like 3 camps. And out of Indianapolis, he couldn't call me. That's not existent. So I had to call him.
Wow.
He calls me, and Chris Paul was my teammate at that one for, I know Randolph isn't there. But like I call him, and that's how our relationship started. And he's talking about he liked leadership and the sort of the mentality and the point guard play and him being a point guard. And like ever since that point, the connection, the relationship, everything just took off from there. So like that's the starting point. So I mean I can go into wherever it is, but like that first conversation of how he made you feel, not what he said, but how he made you feel, is there even from the first conversation to him texting me after we beat our rival Canisius.
Right.
Him calling when we get inducted into the
What made you believe?
him. His way of communicating, his way of simplifying whatever's going on. He can put you in there and he'll put it all at ease. You know, we're getting recruited, and here's a story. Like, he's sitting in my high school, all right? And he's saying, hey, the way you play, the way we play, you're going to lead the conference in assists as a freshman. Like, as a high school kid, you're like, oh, yeah, of course I'm going to do that. Like, you know, I'm doing this in high school.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea. You know what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely,
So,
yeah.
you have no idea how hard it is to do it at that level.
Absolutely right.
So he's sitting there and he's telling me that, and I'm like, you believe him, but whatever he's telling you in that meeting, it comes true.
It's real. Yeah.
You're like, I don't know how it works.
He's not going to be right. He's not BSing you in the meeting.
No,
that's
and,
not him.
And you could be struggling as a player, and he comes in and he showed me a picture. Showed me a picture of like, this is what I want you to be. You know, he coaches body language, he coaches attitude, he's coaching all that stuff.
You did. You struggled at times.
Yeah,
Right.
You go through ups and downs of learning.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Duke was the #1 team in the country. You're playing with J.J. Redick, Sheldon Williams.
Oh, gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
Wes told the story, and you're a freshman point guard. You got to grow up really quick, and there's a learning curve. And you know, you go there to be a part of that, but you don't know what it takes to play in the ACC at that level, let alone the way coach coaches you. And so the amount of meetings we had where he gave confidence, he told the truth, and what he shared and how he said it and the simplicity that he shared it with, you run through and I do it even now. Like when I became the head coach at Niagara, I called him up, Coach, this is happening. How can, what advice you got? And it's, you're ready, be yourself, trust yourself. And I get that same feeling I got when I was 16 years old, 15 years old, to I'm 35. And that's just the relationship and the trust that of who he is.
That's awesome. I feel like I know GP so well, but a couple of things like his motivational tactics, I'll never forget how good you guys were. And I'm going to humble brag. I'm not going to go full Shimon, but when we beat you guys at our place. No, but hold on.
Why does everyone talk about the one time
they won?
You know what I mean?
No, but hold on.
Like
Wait till where I'm getting. Wait till where I'm getting. He calls timeout, doesn't say anything in the huddle, just lets you guys listen. And then after that, you guys went on a great run. I believe at the end of the year, you're going to have to refresh my memory on a lot of that stuff.
So you guys did that, and it was one of those things that he calls timeout and doesn't say much.
But they go on to win the national championship this year.
It's hey, we obviously didn't play to the standards of Duke basketball. You listen to this. You storm the courts. All that stuff. And ironically enough, I did the same thing. We got beat by St. Peter's at the end of this year. And called the timeout, just like, hey, we're going to regroup from this. We're going to respond. Yep. We went back home. We won 2 games and ended up getting the top 5 seed in the conference. But it was those instances that you take from playing from him, those leadership type moments, and you apply them to how we do things now.
Wow. You got to tell me, being in the MAC, the Metro.
You love the MAC.
I love the MAC. I love
You're
the map.
tweeting about it. You're following it. I
Yeah.
appreciate that about
Well, I
you.
appreciate you. I got to hear from you.
Even though he doesn't remember you, he appreciates you.
As long as he remembers Niagara, you know. As long as you don't even remember me. As long as you know the program.
You're sitting and watching Kentucky St. Peter's.
Yep.
Like, what does what we just saw, putting in perspective of, because you've gone into the Yanatelli Center. You know, you just watched a team out of Jersey City, New Jersey, a campus that's 2 blocks out of the MAC, a conference that, frankly, the budget's not that anywhere close of the hitters that they just beat. What's it mean? What's your take on what St. Peter's did in your league?
Yeah, I mean, it's historical. I mean, not just the Kentucky win, but Murray State. It's the first time our conference has been to the Sweet 16. And then you put in, okay, now you got to go beat Purdue. And so you go to the Elite Eight, and, I mean, what an incredible job. Shaw, St. Peter's, unbelievable run. But, you know, I mean, like, from our standpoint, I think the coaches in the league were, I don't know if, you know, they were going to be close. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, they played that way all year. That's what they do. But it was awesome for the league, historical, and I think it just shows a little bit of how good our league is.
I'm gonna get a little bit of personal here, because I can tell you I've known Jeff for what, I don't know, 5-6 years. I don't think, Greg, I have heard someone talk about a coach or a player the way that I saw him the day after he had gone to your home. And to me, basketball is about relationships. I can't tell you how proud he is of you.
He's
no, that's true. It is.
You got
I'm
emotional
seeing
with me. You got choked
I'm
up.
doing it now. Just, I mean, honestly, like, you look at him and with your son.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was. Listen, it's what it's all about, man. It is.
It's about people. You know, life is about other people.
Well, I know what you've gone through. Listen,
you know, it's
your career, everything. Again, like, people thought you had it easy, right? Like, you were a #1 point guard. People thought it was going to be easy for you. It wasn't.
No, it's hard.
It wasn't. You went through a lot at Duke. Then you go, you play at Syracuse. You hadn't picked up a football in 4 years. And you go play quarterback in the ACC at Syracuse. Then, like, me included, I expect you to go overseas. You're going to play 10 years overseas, make a lot of money. You don't do that. You want to coach, right? Your coaching career isn't easy. So, yeah, to me, again, listen, seeing you with your family as a father, man, very cool.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
He's
That's
been,
awesome.
you know, it's
Do your play. Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it's-
I'm ruining the moment.
it's about others, and it's about, you know, you learn a lot about yourself when things don't go well. And then you learn also about the people around you. You know, who's going to be there for you, who's going to show up when things aren't as well, and whether that's family, whether that's career, whether that's whatever it is. You go through highs and lows, and that's when you can go through those with people, those bonds, those relationships. That to me is what it's about.
Be candid with us here. I mean, we sense the brotherhood. Like, do you get emotional thinking about that this is Mike Krzyzewski? These are the last 72 hours.
It's there's so many emotions that come, and they come at so many different times. You know, like, I'm 35. I've never seen anyone else on the Duke sideline.
Wow.
You know, I mean, what he's done, and obviously playing for him, right? Like, I went to school to play for him. Like, he's still, I graduated 13 years ago, and to go back and have everybody connected, the brotherhood, all playing under one person, and what those individuals have done in their careers with their families, you know, like the differences they made in the world, it's and then you throw in the statistics of what he's done. The win, like we say, like, 1,000 wins, like 100 NCAA tournament wins plus.
It doesn't hit you what that means.
And it's overwhelming when you're getting recruited there, because you know the story. You're like, hey, Bobby Hurley, Jay Williams, like, and you have to, you want to live up to that. You want to be that. You want to be that next person that's the next people behind you come, and you want to do it for yourself, your teammates, and coach. And it's the brotherhood is so real, and the more you get away from Duke playing, the more you realize how much it's intertwined and connected, and the group chats and the way people talk and come back to campus and the games. It's so special.
Hey, do you remember the time? I'm just thinking of stories. Do you remember the time when you guys got knocked out your freshman year?
LSU
in the locker room.
Georgia Dome.
You remember what happened?
I remember a lot of things.
You were in the corner, just your freshman year. You were in the corner, balling.
Yeah,
you were balling.
It's emotional.
And again, JJ, it was their final game, so you were in the corner balling. There was a camera that literally would not get out of your face.
Yeah, right in front of me. Yeah,
it
but
would not get out of your face.
It was me to you. Me to you.
And the camera guy would not get out of his face. He was in his face for 2 minutes straight. Greg looks up at me, literally, didn't have to say a word, just looked at me, and I did something that probably I shouldn't have done as a media person. I stuck my ass right in the middle of that camera and Greg. I was like, that's it. You got your shot. Yeah. You got your shot of him crying, get the F out of here.
You did. Yeah. Wow.
And it covered the whole lens too. His behind, it was unbelievable.
No, back then I was thin. I was actually thin. Now that was about 20 pounds ago. A lot of years and 20 pounds ago.
But that's part of being at Duke. That it's hard to put yourself in that situation. Every game's in national television. Yeah. The spotlight is there.
You felt it as a freshman because you had the pressure on you.
You had to
with JJ, with Sheldon. You were kind of the savior freshman point guard.
It's one of the it's the standard of what you're coming, and you want to be a part of. That's why I chose to go there. I wanted to be coached hard. I wanted to figure out. I wanted to be a part of everything. I wanted to play for Coach, and who better to play for?
Right.
Who better to learn from? And I knew I wanted to coach. And
that's
so
the crazy part is you knew that at an early age, which is why you probably didn't go play overseas for a long period of time, right? You wanted to get started in coaching.
Wanted to get started, and so that's
was
part
that
of
your dad.
I think I playing for my dad, being around my brothers. When you got siblings, you're beating each other up. Everything is kind of about that bond, and I love sports and I love people. And so the ability to bring it together with making an impact is really, really awesome for me. But I think like moments like that, you have to go through it to learn what it's like to be in the camera, in the spotlight. You got to take it when you don't play well.
Yeah.
And you can't just get the good when you play well, and you get 15 assists. Like, no, you got to take it when you have 8 turnovers, when you miss the game-winning shot, when you just don't flat out play well. And that's part of you learn when you. It's why you want to go there, and you gotta learn quickly with that because you want to take it to that next level and be a part.
How do you think Jeremy Roach is done with this? Being a point guard at Duke, he's also had a little bit of an up and down career so far at Duke, coming off an injury in high school. How do you think he's kind of he's playing his best basketball right now?
Well, look at that. That's what you want to do. You want to play your best basketball right now, and he's been. I mean, you look at key moments and times when they've made that run, and obviously there's a lot of guys that do it for Duke, but I think he's playing really, really. He's playing with a lot of confidence, as Coach K would say, a lot of verve. Mm-hmm. That's the way he describes and wants.
You heard that a lot.
That was something that is I say with my guys, and sometimes I got to explain what that means. What's that? What does that look like, right? And but I think he's playing awesome. I love the confidence, and he gives a different dynamic.
Yep. Absolutely.
With the ball handling, with the
100%.
playmaking, with the way he gets it in comparison to some of the other guys, whether it's post-ups, isolations. I just think it's the dynamic of the multiple personnel is really hard to guard.
So if Duke wins this game tomorrow, you're staying Monday night, right? You're here.
He's got
Yeah, I heard you're painting your chest. Is that true?
Yes.
That's what you said last night. I don't know. I don't know, Jeff. I'm just throwing it out there.
If his ass covered the whole camera shot, my chest, you're going to need 4K, HDR. But I will recognize you tonight. I'm going to buy you a couple drinks because apparently we spend 20 minutes with each other. You like red wine?
Little cab.
Good.
Little cab.
Good. So I like that.
You like that? Well, hey, thanks for having me on. Awesome to see you guys.
Hey, hold on, one more.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I wanted to ask this earlier, but I didn't want to ruin this because I thought this was like the best interview I think we've had all week, and I'm not even kidding. But do your players know what kind of player you were? I mean, seriously, like you were a big time dude. Like it's a long time ago. Now we're 15 years. No, dude, I'm right there with you. I'm a couple years younger, but
So you know, like some days you wake up and the body feels really good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Don't you
like
go
you,
out there?
you chat, you're like, yo, you getting a little like, hey, first point wins my ball, right? Like I'm setting the rules, I'm calling the fouls, like you like I'm not losing, right? And
That's
then,
fantastic.
and then I'm gonna talk about it until the next time my body feels good, right? Like that's the way it works.
Which is once every 2 weeks.
100%, 100%. So we were actually down. So here's a funny story. I actually practiced, like we were doing transition offense, getting ready, getting ready for Siena, and so I jump in, like a guy goes, whatever it is, guy went down, I jump in, so I score. So I'm talking some stuff, like all right, so I'm going again, like my body's feeling good. So I go again, I score again. All right. So then the next time I come in, I take a shot, I miss it, whatever. The guys get a good kick out of it. It was open, you know, and so the guys were making fun of the other players. Yeah. So then in order to like lighten the mood and mix things up late February, early March, you try to keep teams fresh, you know, not just physically but mentally.
Yep.
So our coaches, I didn't know this. Our assistant coach was going through the scout, and the last person on the scout was me. Like it was me. Like it just comes up and it's showing like clips of Duke, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like I don't know when this. I don't know whether to stop it. I don't know if they're gonna show me.
Are
like,
they watching? I mean,
yeah, like they're watching and they're like, oh, like pretty, you know, lighting up. Everybody's fired up.
Yeah.
You know, like.
That's awesome.
So you know, I didn't know if they were gonna like me get my ankles broke or.
Yeah.
So it was great, but it lightened the mood. But I don't talk about it very much. Yeah. You know, some of the parents and the families and that stuff.
They'll
but
bring it up. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's you know, something that's I use now as I coach
Yep.
and lead, but I'm not gonna. That's just not kind of in my nature. So
Greg Paulus, thank you for the time.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
great being with you guys. All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you
Great
guys.
to meet you.
All right, absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
One of the best, if not the best interview we've done all week. Coach,
Does that mean we get to do it again?
yes.
Not at midnight. I'm not up at midnight though. I got two little
I'm-
kids. I'm not staying up to midnight for it. But let's do this again.
I'm coming to a Purple Eagles game.
Hey, get that on camera right
I'm
now.
coming.
got it.
All right?
I will.
Hey, Rob, are you coming to a Niagara game?
Yeah, of course.
He does. You don't mean that.
Well, that's for another.
I-
It's
I
Rob
promise
Duster's
this is on
birthday.
film.
It's Rob Duster's birthday.
Is it really?
Yes, it
It's
is.
my birthday. Here's the
Happy
thing.
birthday, man.
Do you want me to come to the Niagara game?
Yeah, let's do
Then
it.
I'm
time
coming to
is
a
it?
Niagara game.
All right,
Well, this is
John,
what we're
John,
doing. We're
you
gonna do a
two
road
are
trip.
doing a road trip. I invited myself on for the next time. You know, you guys need like a guest, like 15 people. You know, can't make it. I'll be the 16th.
Here's the thing. You're saying this. You're saying this. How many times did I have to text you today just to get a yes?
No, I told you I was
begging
coming
you-
at 7.
I've been begging you for 48 hours to come on the show.
I didn't want you guys to lose viewers, so hopefully you didn't lose
Yeah.
viewers. You know, John, you know what I mean?
Hey, have we talked about what's more difficult, being a point guard or being a quarterback? Have we gone there?
We haven't
yeah.
done that.
Yeah,
well,
we
we've
talked
had
about that?
what's been more difficult is apparently. Now, here's the problem, Greg. Now I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Uh-oh. Where's it
I
going?
have a history of this.
Where
Okay,
are we
of
going?
not not recognize. I don't know if it's a facial thing. I once blew him
No,
off.
he doesn't say
at a-
hi to people. No, that's you. You
I
looked me in
do
the eye and
know.
you saw me.
Nah.
Here's what happened. No, this is a true story.
Apparently, I
2018 Final Four. It was that San Antonio?
Yeah.
It was San Antonio. We're at the Intersport party, right? And like Mark Titus is there.
I saw him
He's
there last
sitting
night.
He's sitting there with Greg Oden and Tate Frazier and someone else from Ohio State. And Andy Katz is right there talking to him. And I walk by and I see Fanta. I'm like, Fanta, what's up, man? I put my hand out. And he looks at it, looks at me, and walks
It
and
was
goes and
not
tries to
that
introduce himself to
dramatic.
Greg
I
Oden.
would never
He
do
looked
that.
at my hand. He looked me in the
No,
eye.
I did
and
not.
Walked over to go say hi to Greg Oden.
That
a
is
true
not
story.
what I did.
Hey, everything
exactly
that
what
Doster
happened.
says, grain of salt.
If you
Grain of
saw
salt.
Greg
of salt.
Oden, you would have shook his hand, and then you would have went.
No, but I would have said, "Oh, great to meet you. Great
problem
to meet
here
you.
is-
Listen, I'll be right back. I got to go do something."
I said,
and then
"Hey,
I would've
nice
come
to
back-
see you tonight."
Always,
I said,
always got to go. Nice to see you, because if you say meet,
Meet,
you
but I
don't know
did
if your
say
paths
see.
crossed before.
Yeah.
When he turns to Terrence and goes, "I don't know what Fanta's talking about. I spent 20 minutes with him last night." That's how out in left field I was. I don't even remember seeing him.
Who, me last night?
No,
You,
Oh,
him.
Paulus.
He goes, "You talked for 20 minutes."
He says, "Hey, I'm John Fanta."
I'm not sure what night.
Greg comes
You
over
must
here.
have seen somebody that looked like me. You sure it wasn't Drew Carey?
Greg goes,
Hey, Fanta was on one last night.
yeah.
Fanta was on one last
GP, Greg comes up to me and he goes,
Folks, come meet me on
to Fanta
Bourbon
for
Street
20
tonight.
minutes last night.
It's all good.
Dirty things will happen.
Hey,
All right, hey,
Look, it's New Orleans. It's New Orleans.
It's,
What do you expect?
it's all
New
good.
Orleans.
Hey, I will.
his birthday.
All right, it's his birthday. You guys are coming to Niagara.
Who's this?
I'm
Yours.
I know.
I'm gonna invite myself to come back on. All right, and then one other thing here. All right, tomorrow is Autism Awareness Day.
Oh, yeah.
So just want to bring recognition. I know Pat Scarry and other coaches over the years have done the pin, gained awareness.
When you look
recognition.
at this camera right here, when you watch a college basketball game and you see someone on there, that's a lapel pin, right?
Yeah.
Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
blue.
You have the blue puzzle piece lapel pin on. That is the Autism Awareness one. They have it every day. I think it's every year, January 29th.
Later in the year, yep.
Yeah, later in the year, there is an Autism Awareness game, and I think that it was Pat and who was Tom Harrion.
Yep,
Tom Harrion.
Yep, those two together.
Yeah, and they really pushed that, and
it's-
we've had Pat on the podcast before to talk about that, so it's a good cause. I'm glad you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to gain some awareness. So appreciate you giving me that chance to say that. All right, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for coming
All
on.
right,
The Greg Paulus. The Greg Paulus.
QB1, Greg Paulus, QB1.
Yeah.
I'm
Can
telling
you still spin it?
What's that?
Can you still spin it?
You run. You go long, and we'll try. Keep going. Keep going, Rob. I got you.
Wait a minute. Hey, Dagan,
All right,
are we doing another giveaway tonight?
Come
we
jump
have
in the hot seat.
We have to do a giveaway tonight still.
Yeah, we got to do a
Let's get
giveaway.
chat.
Let's get in the chat.
Wait, I have a question for T.O. real quick. Where's the hot dog suit?
I forgot it. Well, we never went back to the hotel.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you get in the hot seat?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Come on, jump in.
We're not doing that.
Get in the hot seat.
We're not
Wait.
doing
He
the
just-
hot dog suit.
Yeah. He just.
Awesome. I'll give you my number.
Hey,
All right, QB1.
Cart.
QB1.
Listen,
Hey, hold on one second.
we're
Wait.
not doing
That's
it.
what that's
okay?
that's what
This
we're
is
calling him
not-
from now on. It's QB1.
Why did you bring
Right,
it down
look,
to
look,
begin
look where you're standing right now. Look.
Now hold on a minute.
Just don't knock over into the cameras, all right?
What do you got?
Hey,
All right, QB1.
Oh, your new house.
Hey, look,
All nonsense
Dagan, if you
aside.
ever need production help, we have Greg Paulus.
Paulus,
Greg
engineer.
Paulus, Field of 68 intern.
hey,
Engineer.
Greg Paulus, Field of 68 intern. All right, QB1, see you.
hey. All nonsense aside, people forget that Greg Paulus was the #1 point guard in the country and the #1 quarterback in the country.
Unbelievable.
Like, people don't realize how good an athlete this guy was.
Yeah,
Hey, we do need to hire him. We got the field of 68 and the field of 12. He could double up.
So we lose.
Hey,
Greg Paulus,
hey,
number
that's,
one
he's
point
not even
guard in the
listening. Look,
country.
he's not even
12
listening.
for
He
Greg
can do field
Paulus.
12. We can double
He
him
could be
up.
field of 12,
Hey,
special
Paulus,
analyst.
Paulus, are you going to be on the field of 12 next year? We need more
College
QBs.
football.
We have Bryce Petty, Trevor Knight, Christian Hackenberg, Greg Paulus. You in? You got it.
Yeah.
You want to break down some football? Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
break
go.
down some
He's our quarterback.
All right, we got him locked in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whatever you want.
Let me tell you, it'll be one time for you because I'll be your left guard, and that ain't gonna end well for you.
I got great trust in you.
Oh,
Great confidence.
run for the hills. I would.
All right, we
you're on a
got
bootleg
Carter
anyway.
Elliott on here. We need questions from the chat. We got to do our top golf giveaway. We got to give someone $50, man. We got to give someone $50.
Here's my first question: why did you bring the suit? You brought it?
Yeah, it's in the room.
Oh, why did you? You
Why-
lost the
why-
bet.
Are you trying to? Are
You
trying
lost
to duck
the
out
bet.
the bet?
Fanta, I love you, but you lost the bet.
Okay, I love you too, but this is in our control. We lost
Hey, hold
the
on,
bet.
hold on.
No,
you heard
you
Chris
gotta
Beard.
own up.
You heard Chris Beard earlier talk about Goodman. You got to do what you say you're going to do.
I
I'll
know,
wear it
I'll
for the.
put it
Hey, I'll
on.
tell you what. Sunday morning, I'll wear it for the first half of the show. You wear it for the second half. Of
It's an hour.
And it's better than a whole. It's a whole show set.
When
It's
did
better
you
than
get
walking
shaved?
down. It's better than walking
What does
down.
it look like?
When did you
It's
purchase
just a hot dog.
Shane?
When did you purchase Shane?
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Fanta, consequences are a thing. The consequences of your
Hey,
actions.
First of all, I thought that there should have been some kind of addendum to the bet after
Why
Maryland's
you
head
made a
coach.
stupid bet?
That
After
is
Maryland's
true.
head
They
coach.
fired their head coach.
After Maryland loses their head coach in a month and Danny Manning takes
Okay,
over.
so
Right.
hold on. So after Maryland
I
loses
agree.
to George Mason and a bunch of other slapdicks, you're telling me that's when it all
When
went
did
wrong?
Goodman get back on this?
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's when it all went wrong.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa. Big time break. Did you want to break this?
What's this breaking news? Go ahead, give it to us. We have Field of 68 breaking news.
A birthday special for Sir Rob. First, can I give you a hug before I announce it? Can I give you a hug? No, can I give you a hug?
What are we doing? Go check the Field of 68.
Rob has sold the Field of 68 to an undisclosed member. Read the press release. For a total of $6 million, everyone. Congratulations, Rob. Well done, Rob.
Happy birthday.
That's a big time.
What's the first thing you're going to buy?
New employees.
I will have you know that the employee that you should be looking at is not here.
You can't buy new employees unless you play the ones you have, all right, Rob?
Now, wait a minute. Who bought it?
Cobblestone at
Go read it.
Cobblestone Atlantic Partners.
Keep reading.
CAP.
Keep reading.
That's CAP.
Yeah, can you wait?
Keep reading.
Rob, could you just read the press release, please, for us?
No, I'm
Just-
not reading the press.
Please just read it out loud.
Sean Paul going read it.
I'll read it.
Give me. Where's it at?
Still the best Sean Paul moment of the week. Hey.
Listen. Happy birthday, man. we got BJ on here. Hold
Yes,
on.
BJ. We got to give BJ a round of applause. He came to see us. Yes, he came to see just us.
Go kick T.O. out of here.
Yeah,
Jump in here.
Yeah.
Get in here. We'll tell you something. Hold on. I got So here's the press release.
Read the press release. Read the press
Rob
release.
Doster, founder of the Field of 68
Camera.
Media Network, has announced, I've never seen this before, has announced
Oh, we've seen
today
it.
that he has sold his majority stake in the company to private equity firm Cobblestone Atlantic Partners for $6 million. Rob
That's a lot
Doster,
of
whose
money,
birthday
though.
is today, was quoted at the time of the sale saying, "There was a major void in college basketball, and I filled it single-handedly over the last 18 months, putting an entire company on my back with zero help from the numerous has-been former players, no-name producers, and certainly with no help from that clown Jeff Goodman. This was always a money grab."
I just want to get to the CEO part. That's the only part I want to
This was always a money grab, and let's be honest, and I cannot be more excited to cash that $6 million check and hit the beaches of Turks and Caicos. The Field of 68 has produced After Dark, a live show every night all season that airs on SiriusXM, Channel 84, in addition to streaming on YouTube, and that's it, just YouTube, just streaming just on YouTube. Cobblestone Atlantic Partners, CAP, is a private equity firm based in Bielefeld, Germany.
Yeah, wait, how'd you
Specific terms of the deal were not disclosed. The Field of 68 has has great potential, said CAP CEO Kirk Risa. Where else can you find a bunch of white males in the middle of their midlife crisis sitting around a desk podcasting about sports? For more information, reach out directly to Rob Doster. What the fuck is this?
Congratulations.
Hey, well, listen, Brisbane don't got any more jobs, so let's get out of here. Yeah?
I don't know about you. I thought we were light skinned. I didn't know we were white. I just want to say, I thought we were light skinned.
Hey, Rob, in case you were wondering what the hell's been going on back over here, that's what's been going on for like the past 2 hours.
Hard work. That was good, right?
That was good.
Congrats.
That quote was spot on, by the way.
All right, BJ's here.
Can we talk about BJ real quick? BJ, introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, I'm BJ.
Where you from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
When'd you get to town?
Yesterday.
Why you down
About
here?
6 p.m.
Down here to hang out with us.
Tell everybody your trip. What made you come down?
Well, you guys made me come down. I've been watching your show for about a week now because I go to Vegas and I gamble, I gamble a little bit. And
Yeah, the Tar Heel fans are coming out of the woodworks now.
So I like the product. You guys was bringing it every night that I watched, and I saw, and I was undecided about coming because it's a little bit of coins it takes to get down here.
Yeah.
So anyway, to make a long story short, they inspired me to come. Childress had his coach with him. It was a Wednesday night show. I woke up Thursday morning and I watched it. And I decided I want to be a part of this. you know.
We're glad you came down.
We're glad you came down,
glad you
BJ.
came, BJ.
We're gonna have a good time.
I want to be a part of this, man.
What happened to the bobblehead? Oh, you stole it.
Oh, it's right here. No.
Wait, RC stole the bobblehead. RC stole the bobblehead.
Okay, go ahead.
Coach K right
You
now.
stole the bobblehead.
Coach K.
Wait.
You try to take that home, RC. Don't.
I'm trying to save Coach. I didn't want to push him on the floor and break him. No. Let's not go too far. I'm not as angry as the Carolina fans, but my love for either of the blue schools doesn't go but so far. But it was good.
He's trying. Don't let him fool you. He's trying to hit that home. He's gonna steal that.
All right, we have to do a giveaway still, right?
I've got no questions. I'm moving on.
So, someone in the chat. We need something that RC has to do to avoid having to put on that Duke hat on tomorrow's show.
Ooh.
Okay, so give us something in the chat. The best idea for what RC has to do.
It better be damn good. If you're gonna make me wear a Duke or a Carolina hat, whoever puts this question from the chat better be damn good.
I already know who it's gonna be. I got a feeling I know who it's gonna be in the chat. I've got a feeling, but we gotta wait. We gotta wait for them to type it out. You gotta give them a little bit of time. My goodness.
So if you're gonna call in and make me wear a Duke or Carolina hat,
It's got to be something good.
It better be
while we wait, can I make a
damn
statement real
good.
quick?
Go ahead, make your statement.
Okay, so everyone kind of flew down here today. I feel like all the fans have been coming in. I've seen plenty of Tar Heel fans.
You can't slander your own team.
I'm not slander.
I know
I'm
where you're
just
going.
asking where I want to see the Villanova Cats come out. I want to see Colin Gillespie lift the trophy above his head, and I think Villanova fans need to come out and show themselves.
I'll say this.
I'm just saying.
I'm a Villanova fan, but KU and Carolina and Duke, it is from a fan base perspective, it's hard to compete against that. That's going to be hard. And they're out. I've seen them. I've seen the more early part of the day. The Villanova fans got a little early.
I'm telling you.
I like the hat, though.
I'm telling you. Some compared me to Eric Dixon back in the day. Like
To
an Eric Dixon, Chris Jenkins hybrid kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Chris Jenkins.
But Chris Jenkins had a 3-ball. You're a paint
scorer. You know what
scorer.
he was Chris Jenkins without the jump shot.
There you go. That sounds about right.
Can I put a question to the group here?
Yeah,
Of course.
Okay, so how many freshmen has won a national championship? How many starters? I'm talking starters.
Like
In
when
your-
you
in your
build
history.
like the one and done teams.
Yes.
I think
How many?
There basically been two. There basically been two. It was Duke.
And I know who they are.
Duke 2015, right? Right. And then Kentucky 2012, right?
And they have phenomenal. Is there Anthony Davis in this bunch?
You can consider a modern times. You can say Paula Bencaro is that kid.
Yes.
Because there's not many 6'10 guys, 250 pounds, freshmen playing the way or doing the things that he's doing.
So if you fill out your bracket, in your bracket, are you going to pick experienced players, especially at the guard position?
I'm going to take talent. Talent prevails.
Yeah. I'll take talent too, especially
I'll
at this
take
point.
talent.
Especially at this point
you're
of the year.
not
You know what I'm
here.
saying?
Throw all the experience and everything else out of the window. You've had tough games. You've had it all. Ultimately, I mean, these will be close games. I don't think anything will be a blowout, even despite Justin Moore's injury.
So
there's 4 draftable, maybe 5 draftable kids in this year's draft on Duke's team, so they're gonna be probably the favorite.
Okay.
And I know that hurts you Tar Heels to say that.
Well, it won't hurt until tomorrow night. when it's all said and done.
That's possible.
Someone just commented on the announcement of the Field of 68 sale. At least the guy is honest about what his intentions are. Just by reading this, I was a follower, but I don't know any other details.
There you
At least
go.
I was honest about my intentions.
You were honest.
There you go.
You were honest. That was true. Very honest.
Unreal. Do we have any questions? We got to give away.
We have a question about.
We'll do a couple.
I'll leave this open to you. We have a question about. We have a question about Indiana. Do you want to answer?
No, we're not going to talk Indiana.
That's what I thought. So we don't have any questions.
Here. We've been on for 2 hours. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to be live from inside the Superdome, breaking down the game, previewing the game. We're going to finally just sit there and talk ball.
Hold on.
We're going to do
before we end. We're doing 2 cheers. First cheers to BJ for
BJ.
coming out
BJ.
and watching with us, making the trip down.
BJ,
we appreciate you. And the second cheers, of course, to the man that is now rich, Rob Doster.
Hey,
happy birthday, Rob!
Tonight, I'm gonna make a toast too. to whoever walked in here and stole my fucking basketball. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna whoop
Did they
your
find
ass.
T.O.? Did they find
Yes,
T.O.?
yes, we did.
This is a toast to you because this is probably going to be the last breath that you ever breathe. So,
All right, that's all right.
What about it, man? I spent $45 on that
$40 basketball.
It's not
man.
This thing was
Yeah.
so
You should be
overpriced,
upset.
and I bought it because that's what I do. I get my son a basketball every Final Four that I go to, and I bought one for him, and it got stolen. Who does that?
All right, it's 8 o'clock. You're done. See you later, everybody.